I have a city in the desert. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 526, Mechanical Town. President Luo introduced his idea to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen looked at the scenic spot planned by President Luo and frowned and said, "Can this quicksand become a scenic spot? Quicksand is so dangerous, so it's better to be cautious." At any time, Jiang Chen felt that the safety of tourists should be put first. Moreover, President Luo's ancient capital scenic spot is not short of scenic spots. Jiang Chen even felt that his ancient capital scenic spot was better than several other scenic spots. After all, the Bermuda Oasis scenic spot, the grassland scenic spot, etc. are all too seasonal, but the ancient capital scenic spot is not seasonal and can be open to the public all year round. Don't worry, Jiang Chen, we have already explored this quicksand. We have circled all the places with quicksand and opened roads in places without quicksand. Now many people have never seen quicksand and they are very interested in this. After President Luo finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. After Guanku and Jiang Chen studied President Luo's map for a while, Jiang Chen finally nodded. It must be said that President Luo's planning and design are quite good. President Luo even guessed that Jiang Chen would build other things next to his scenic spot. So he built the commercial street on the border of the ancient capital scenic area so that it would be convenient to connect with another scenic area seamlessly. I think it's okay. President Guan, what do you think? Jiang Chen said and looked at Guan Custodian beside him. Guan Custodian looked back at the map and nodded and said, since Jiang Chen agrees, there must be no big problem. Then let's build 2 universities and technical secondary schools on the border. In addition, the factories will be built on the west side. When Jiang Chen and Guan Custodian reached an agreement, President Luo was excited. He poured himself a full glass of wine and drank it all in one gulp. Thank you. This glass is for Jiang Chen. President Guan. Thank you for your support. I guarantee that our scenic spot will pay at least 2 billion net profit to our head office every year. The net profit that President Luo mentioned is the money after paying off debts. If his scenic spot can be opened on time in the spring and with the unimpeded Morgan Expressway, his scenic spot is very likely to become a hit. Therefore, President Luo felt that it would not be a problem to pay 2 billion to the head office by the end of the year. After all, the accommodation, hotels, cinemas, shopping and so on in his scenic area were all under his jurisdiction. Colorful Town. After Jiang Chen and President Luo finalized the planning of the ancient capital scenic area and the mechanical town, the ancient capital scenic area needed to be connected with the mechanical town. But at the moment, the mechanical town has no person in charge, because the mechanical town has Jianatong University and Mechanical University as well as super advanced excavators and trucks. This must be handed over to a trustworthy person. The only people Jiang Chen could trust were Fatty Wang, Brother Wolf and Guan Cubic. Brother Wolf was in charge of the safety of the special zone and he definitely couldn't go. Fatty Wang was in charge of 2 large groups, so Jiang Chen could only hand over this task to Guan Cubic. President Guan, you will temporarily serve as the president of Jianatong University and Mechanical University and the chairman of 2 large companies. Luo, you will contact President Guan to connect the 2 towns in the future. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Guan Ku did not refuse. After all, compared with others, Guan Ku was the most suitable person among them. Okay. After Guan Ku finished speaking, President Luo toasted Guan Ku again and said, President Guan, we will be neighbors from now on. Happy cooperation. When they left the colorful town, it was already evening. Jiang Chen took Lu Zimin to the machinery base of Line 2. When Lu Zimin looked at the super machinery bases that looked like small hills, he was stunned. Where are these excavators and bulldozers produced? Why are they so big? Looking at the excavator that could dig out a small hill with 1 claw, and the super bulldozer that could flatten a hill with 1 foot of the accelerator, Lu Zimin felt that this was simply digging the Milky Way. If he had this kind of equipment, let alone digging out the entire machinery town within a week, he could do it in 3 days. Don't ask where it was made. Your task now is to get someone to drive it to the machinery town. By the way, the operating system here is different from others. You have to bring people to train them, Jiang Chen said as he went up to operate it for Lu Zimin. When Lu Zimin saw that the big guy in front of him didn't need a driver, he felt as if he had seen alien technology. That's right, this is indeed alien space technology. When the sunset filled the sky, the excited Lu Zimin still seemed to be dreaming. However, dreaming is dreaming, and work must be done in time, so Lu Zimin quickly called his friends and negotiated a lot of talents from the excavator school. These talents will arrive at Fengjin Airport tomorrow. They will be able to complete the training tomorrow morning, and these people will be able to invest in the construction of the machinery town in the afternoon. When night fell, Jiang Chen returned to the wooden house town. Lu Zimin was afraid that someone would steal his excavator, so he didn't sleep all night. He led several teams of security guards to patrol the machinery area. Spring is coming little by little. Spring is the busiest time for a scenic spot. At this moment, all the scenic spots of Sahara Group have entered the final preparation state. The winter pass was also cancelled. Many flowers in the scenic spot were in full bloom in the week before the pass was cancelled. This week is also known as the craziest week since the establishment of Sahara Scenic Spot. This week, the scenic spot received nearly 2.7 million tourists in total. 2.7 million tourists in a week is a small number for some popular domestic scenic spots. But this is the frontier after all. The frontier can receive 2.7 million tourists in a week, which is already a very large number. After the arrival of spring, the seeds of Sahara Seed Group began to sell vigorously, and what Jiang Chen was worried about finally happened. This weekend was the first weekend since the Sahara Scenic Spot cancelled the pass. There were many tourists. Jiang Chen also took Anna to the Rose Garden Scenic Spot to see the blooming roses. But as soon as Anna and the others arrived at the Plum Garden Scenic Spot, Jiang Chen's mobile phone rang. The caller was an unfamiliar number, and this number did not belong to Sahara Communications Company. Now, the people who know Jiang Chen's mobile phone number are basically the senior executives of their group, so Jiang Chen was puzzled when he suddenly received a call from an unfamiliar number, and it was not from Sahara Company. Hello, who are you? Boss Jiang from Sahara Group, right? I'm ETC from Dream Grassland. I want to do a business with you. Are you interested? When Jiang Chen heard that it was from Dream Grassland, he lost interest instantly. Throughout the winter, Jiang Chen was most worried about Dream Grassland, and now this group of people finally found him. Not interested. Our group disdains to do business with a criminal gang, so you should find someone else. Jiang Chen was about to hang up the phone. Anna saw that Jiang Chen's face was not good, so she asked hurriedly, "What's wrong? Who called?" "Nothing, a lunatic called the wrong number." After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he took Anna's hand and continued to walk towards the rose garden. Chapter 527. This is a big deal. The plum blossom garden is the most beautiful in spring. Although it is only early spring now, the plum blossoms have just grown buds and have not really bloomed yet. But those red buds are also attractive. Ding-ling-ling. Jiang Chen just walked into the plum blossom scenic area and his phone rang again. Jiang Chen took out his phone, and it was the unfamiliar number that called again. Jiang Chen hung up the phone immediately. "What's the matter? If you have something to do, just go and do it first. Zukin is broadcasting, live in the Bermuda scenic area today. I will go to play with her directly later. I'm not busy." Now all the things in the group are handed over to Chen Jianzhao. Other things are also handled by the promotion department. I don't have anything to do. Jiang Chen was right. Now all its scenic spots are developing in the best direction. Sahara Group has successfully become the largest group in the Northwest. The mechanical town has been built under the management of the promotion department. There is also urban construction. Now Lu Zimin has driven thousands of excavators and bulldozers, large trucks, road rollers and so on into the city. Jiang Chen went to see it a few days ago. It was really spectacular. The supergiant bulldozer pushed a big mountain into the valley with a rumble. The super excavators dug up the huge sand dunes and put them into the trucks, which then pulled them into the valley to fill it up. After the ground was leveled, the rollers started to get busy again. The Super Galaxy rollers pressed down the sand one by one, and the sand was pressed very solidly. Nowadays, the construction speed of the desert construction group is very fast. They can flatten a small town in one day. If they continue like this, they can push out the whole city in less than a year. So with the help of these people, Jiang Chen really has nothing to worry about. That's good. By the way, Sun Mi came to see me a few days ago, and he told me about your affairs. Jiang Chen was upset when he heard that Sun Mi had told Anna about their affairs. As expected, Sun Mi was so carefree that she would never keep any secrets for him. Anna, it's okay, I understand. As long as she really wants to be with you, I don't care. It's just that I suddenly miss Sis Desire. Although she has gone to the cold tide country, she often calls me. She still misses you very much. Does Zai call you often? After Anna finished speaking, Jiang Chen suddenly remembered Zai, who was like a girl next door. Yes, you are also trying to take good care of us now. If possible, let Sister Zaya come back. After all, she was the first one to accompany you to the desert, but because of my arrival, she left. Every time I think of this, I feel bad. If I was Sister Zai, I would definitely feel sad. Anna always felt that she had snatched Jiang Chen from Zai and then forced Zai to leave the scenic area. Anna is a kind person. She would rather suffer herself than be the one who destroys other people's happiness. Everyone has their own dreams. When she fulfills her dream, she will come back on her own. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and suddenly his mobile phone rang again, but this time the number was changed. This number was the number of Sahara Communication Company. Hello, who is this? It's me again. Don't hang up yet. Let me tell you, I know that the desert area where you are is also in the non-management area, so can we have a good talk now? I said, I won't talk to you. Even if I'm in the division area, what can I do? You know, you are in the division area. Even if anything happens in your scenic area, China has no right to manage it. I think you are a smart person, and smart people will never choose to do stupid things. Listen to me, let's make an appointment to go to the special zone together. It won't do you any harm. The person on the other end of the phone laughed coldly, and his laughter made people shudder. What's wrong? Whose phone is this? If Anna dialed the wrong number once, she would still believe it, but this didn't seem like a wrong number at all. Nothing. By the way, where is Zukin live streaming? The rose garden we came to together, but the roses in her rose garden haven't bloomed yet, so she went to the Crescent Lake scenic area to live stream. After Anna finished speaking, she raised her hand and looked at the small watch on her white wrist. Suddenly, she slapped her forehead and said, "Oh, I made an appointment to meet her at the Crescent Lake scenic area at 11 o'clock. She asked me to show my face in her live streaming room to increase her popularity. Look, I forgot everything." After Anna finished speaking, she said to the assistant beside her, "Take me to the Crescent Lake scenic area now. Jiang Chen, I'll go find Zukin first. In the evening, if you don't have anything else to do, come home and eat. My dad wants to discuss something with us." After Anna finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. Indeed, he hadn't been to Laokin Noodle House to eat noodles for a long time. "Okay, then you go find Zukin first, and I'll go to the special zone to find you in the evening," Jiang Chen said, and after giving a few instructions to Anna's assistant and bodyguards, the bodyguards escorted Anna to the UN scenic area. Today, Anna and Zukin have become the top live broadcasters in Zahedong's live broadcast company. The two people's live broadcasts with different styles, coupled with their angelic faces, quickly became the mainstays of the live broadcast company, so no matter where they go, Zahedong has equipped them with assistants and drivers. After Anna left, Jiang Chen hung up the phone and drove directly to the machinery town to find Guan Kubik. He must discuss this matter with Guan Ku, who is the wise man of their company, and he will definitely have a way. When they arrived at the machinery town was still a large desert at the moment, but the machinery town had been flattened by bulldozers. Today, Guan Ku is supervising the construction team to conduct a comprehensive measurement of the machinery town. Guan Ku is very busy now. He not only has to start planning the formation of the town's leadership team, but also has to recruit high-end talents in the automobile manufacturing and excavator manufacturing industries. At the same time, he is also responsible for discussing the registration of colleges and universities and enrollment with Shangjing. Brother Jiang, how come you have time to come here? After Jiang Chen found Guanku was discussing the land planning of the machinery town with a group of workers. President Guan, please stop what you are doing. I have something to discuss with you. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Guanku pointed to the map in his hand and talked to several planners next to him for a while. After several staff members understood, Guanku said to Jiang Chen, okay, let's talk over there. What is there for Brother Jiang to come here in person? President Guan, someone from Dream Grassland called me. Chapter 528, Preemptive Strike. Upon hearing that the people from Dream Grassland had called Jiang Chen, Guanku also felt a little tricky. This group of people was indeed very powerful. They were able to get Jiang Chen's mobile phone number. What did they say? They wanted to cooperate with us, but I didn't agree with them. They said they knew that we were not in the area under their jurisdiction. If we didn't cooperate with them, they wanted our scenic spot to fail. What do you mean by failing our scenic spot? Does he think that our Sahara army is all vegetarian? No one knew the strength of the Sahara army, but this group of people should be able to use their brains to figure out that, since Jiang Chen dared to build a scenic spot here, he naturally had a backup plan. I'm not really worried about fighting them head on. What I'm worried about now is that they use despicable means. I sent someone to investigate. This group of Al-Qaeda organizations has a lot of human bombs. I'm afraid they will send human bombs to our scenic spot to cause damage. Jiang Chen's worries were not unreasonable. Once they set up human bombs in their own scenic spot, then even if they wanted to protect the scenic spot with all their strength, China would immediately close their scenic spot. What do they want? I asked him. They want seeds. They want to buy the most seeds with the lowest price. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Guanku shook his head. It was impossible for them to sell their seeds. Not to mention the low price. Even if they offered the highest price, they would not sell them seeds. Brother Jiang, what do you think? After Guanku finished speaking, Jiang Chen hesitated for a moment. If they hadn't forced him into a desperate situation, Jiang Chen might not have fought to the death. In order to let more people survive, if you stand in my way, you will die. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he looked at Guanku, and Guanku nodded. That's right. For such a vicious person, mercy is useless. Brother Jiang, do you mean that we should strike first? Yes. If we don't strike first, then once they are prepared, our scenic area will be in trouble. I can only send all those who dare to threaten our scenic area to their deaths. If we strike first, what about the tourists of Dream Grassland? And what about those who have been captured? After Guanju expressed his concerns, Jiang Chen shook his head. This was also what he was worried about. If Dream Grassland wants to attack us, will they consider the tourists of our scenic area? Definitely not. Then I won't consider their tourists either. After all, there are not many good people who go there. It's time to teach them a lesson. Jiang Chen has made up his mind, and there is no need for him to report this matter to China. After all, these are things that happened in non-administered areas, and China has no right to manage them. Since Brother Jiang is going to take action, this news cannot be leaked. And we must take action immediately. Otherwise, if time drags on, we will be in greater danger. Once they realize something, they can attack our scenic spot at will, which will bring us a devastating disaster. I didn't leak it. I only told you now. Moreover, I have replied to the people of Dream Grassland. I promised him to sell the seeds to them. The transaction will be made the day after tomorrow morning. Then we will take action the day after tomorrow. After the seeds are traded, we will take action. After Guanku finished speaking, Jiang Shan nodded. Jiang Chen didn't want to trade with them, but he had made up his mind to completely eradicate Dream Grassland. So he had to use this to paralyze the enemy and let the enemy know that he was afraid and compromised. Okay, this attack must be fatal. It's time to test the strength of our Sahara Legion. After all, Jiang Chen spends nearly tens of millions every year to maintain the army's expenses, and Jiang Chen spends tens of billions on military procurement. Jiang Chen has never been stingy in this regard. Okay, I'll go find them and make arrangements. After Guan Ku finished speaking, he handed over the planning task of the mechanical town to his deputy and drove straight to the military headquarters. When he arrived at the center of the military headquarters, Guan Ku read out Jiang Chen's order and signed his name on the appointment letter. There were only 2 people in the entire Sahara Corps who could mobilize the army. One was Jiang Chen and the other was Guan Kubik. And only when Jiang Chen and Guan Ku signed the combat order at the same time, all the Sahara Corps could be dispatched at the same time. When Guan Ku went to discuss the Battle of Dream Grassland with the commander-in-chief of the Sahara Corps, Jiang Chen was already driving towards the special zone. Before the war started, Jiang Chen decided to have a good dinner with Anna. After all, after the battle started, he would definitely participate in the battle. When he arrived at Laokin Noodle House, it was already evening. Laokin Noodle House was already full of customers in the evening. After Jiang Chen arrived, the lobby manager hurriedly greeted Jiang Chen to go to the Lotus Hall on the 2nd floor. There were not many people in the Lotus Hall, only Laokin and a woman in her 30s who looked decent. Of course, Anna also came to the Lotus Hall. "Zhao Jiang, we've been waiting for you. Hurry up and sit down." Laokin saw Jiang Chen coming, and he hurriedly stood up and asked Jiang Chen to sit up. Jiang Chen was not polite. He walked directly to Anna and sat down. "Serve the dishes. Let's eat and talk." Jiang Chen's stomach was already growling after he finished speaking. Soon the waiter brought all the signature dishes of Laokin's Noodle House, and the waiter opened a bottle of wine and filled it for Jiang Chen and Laokin. "Uncle Kin, what did you ask us to do this time?" "Nothing. It's been a long time since you two came to eat. Let's sit down and chat about family matters," Laokin said, and then he picked up the wine glass and drank with Jiang Chen. For some reason, Jiang Chen saw Laokin's face flushed, and he knew that there must be something going on here. "Uncle Kin, just say it directly. We are all family. There is no need to hide it." After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Laokin stood up, looked at the woman beside him, and said with a smile, "It's nothing. It's just that your stepmother is pregnant, so I called you to come over for dinner and discuss it." After Laokin finished speaking, Kinana immediately exclaimed, "Really? When did it happen? How many months?" "Just 2 months." The woman's face was full of happiness after she finished speaking. Yes, this woman is the manager of another branch of Laokin's noodle restaurant. She has a doctorate degree and is also a very strong woman. At first, Jiang Chen did not agree with them being together, but after the elephant leg incident, Jiang Chen and his friends finally relaxed. But, when the child is born, I will definitely give him a big gift. Jiang Chen is no longer a person who lacks money. Of course, Laokin is not short of money either. Today, Laokin's Noodle Restaurant has opened more than 20 branches in the special zone, and Laokin's Noodle Restaurant has also expanded to nearly 40 branches in scenic areas. Jiang Chen had just established the Plum Blossom Town scenic area and the ancient capital scenic area, and Jiang Chen's stepmother immediately invested in 5 branches in the 2 scenic areas. Chapter 529, Key Province buys fake seeds. The Qin family, which originally had a small population, now has its own children. Jiang Chen is of course happy for them. Of course, Anna is the happiest. Anna originally had a younger brother, but that brother died a year ago. So now Anna has a younger brother or sister, and the Qin family can be considered to have a descendant in the future. "Dad, you haven't held the wedding yet, right? Why don't you hold the wedding first, get the marriage certificate, and then have the baby? It's already this time. If he doesn't give his stepmother an identity, it's unreasonable." After Anna finished speaking, Laokin nodded. "Yes, this time I asked you two to come here to discuss this matter. You see, our business is doing well now, and now we have a child. Everything seems to have hope. I was thinking that it's time to get a certificate for your stepmother. Our life is long and short, and we should cherish what we should cherish, right?" After Laokin finished speaking, he looked at Jiang Chen. After all, his son-in-law is not simple, and Laokin is often very afraid of him. "Okay, you guys decide on a date, and tell me when you decide." I'll definitely bring Nana over for the wedding, Jiang Chen said. When he heard Jiang Chen agreed, Leokin instantly became as happy as a child and smiled. Okay, I'll call you when we decide on a date and have CEO Guan and the others come. They had a very happy dinner, and when the banquet was over, Anna held her stepmother's hand and kept talking to her. Stepmother, you have to take care of your health in the future, and you can leave the hotel affairs to other managers. Nana, don't worry. And it's time to get your affairs done, and you should hurry up and have a child by then. This way, even if he falls in love with someone else, at least you will have a child and someone to rely on. Stepmother, don't worry, he doesn't want to get married yet. He wants to find his parents' ashes in the desert, and then get married and have children. Nana, stepmother doesn't mean to say bad things about you. I heard that Li Yiren will graduate from the United States soon, and you have to get married before him. This way, even if he wants to marry 2 wives, at least you are the eldest. After all, with Anna here, the entire Sahara group will be supported by Leokin Noodle House in the future. Little mom, don't get involved in this matter. Okay, Nana, I'm just reminding you. Do you know that he knows someone named Sun Mi in the scenic area? I heard that his backstage is very strong. He is the director of the Sand Management Bureau. Our place is a desert, and they are in charge of us. And that Li Yiren, she is highly educated and smart. If you don't make some plans, little mom is afraid that you will suffer a loss. What is there to suffer a loss? That Sun Mi is not a bad person. Sister Yiren is also a good person. She even sent me things from the United States. The two were talking in the house. At this moment, Jiang Chen had already left the hotel. After leaving the hotel, Jiang Chen decided to look for Fatty Wang. At this moment, Fatty Wang was in the bonded area, not far from Jiang Chen. After rushing to the bonded area, Fatty Wang did not rest. At this moment, Fatty Wang was discussing the expansion of the milk powder base with a group of farm group executives. After Jiang Chen's live broadcast promotion in winter, coupled with his wave of coupon draws worth tens of millions, his milk powder soon entered many families. After the milk powder entered many families, the children of those families not only liked to eat the milk powder produced by Wang Panzi, but also had good nutrition after eating the milk powder. Of course, more importantly, the children slept well and had very good sleep quality after eating the milk powder. So word spread from 1 to 10, and soon the grassland brand milk powder produced by Jiang Chen became famous in the entire milk powder circle. After the reputation was established, Wang Panzi advertised on Sahara Video and Sahara TV and TV stations across China. After more than 1 billion advertisements, Wang Panzi's milk powder quickly occupied a large part of the milk powder market in China with its advantages such as high quality and low price. When Wang Panzi's milk powder in several warehouses was sold out, another problem in front of Wang Panzi appeared. That is, he had to expand production. After all, the farm group not only had to supply milk powder to the whole country, but also fresh milk to the special zones and scenic spots. This consumption was very large, so Wang Panzi discussed the expansion of the farm group with a group of executives at the wine table every day. Jiang Chen rushed to the hotel in the bonded area, and Wang Panzi and the executives had just left. Wang Panzi had drunk a little too much at this moment. Jiang Chen had no choice but to stay in the hotel in the bonded area for one night, and then discuss the matter of Jing's fantasy grassland with Wang Panzi after dawn. After dawn the next day, Wang Panzi heard that Jiang Chen was coming, and he hurriedly got up and went to the next door to find Jiang Chen. Brother Jiang, why didn't you call me in advance when you came to see me? You see, I was so happy that I drank too much yesterday. Didn't it delay you from doing anything? Nothing was delayed. By the way, I'm going to start a business on Fantasy Grassland. Tomorrow, I will trade seeds with the people of Fantasy Grassland in the special zone. At that time, you will bring a team of people to Brother Wolf to be responsible for my safety. Jiang Chen stretched his body after speaking, and then got up. It must be said that the busyness of the past few days made Jiang Chen exhausted, so he slept soundly that night. Okay, only Fatty Wang can help you with this. If you hire another bodyguard, he might be turned by the people of Dream Grassland. At the most critical moment, Jiang Chen would definitely choose to trust his own friend. Don't tell anyone about this. You will go to Brother Wolf later. Also, I don't care what method you use, get me at least 500 kilograms of seeds before tomorrow morning. They are not grass seeds from our grassland, but grass seeds that look like our grassland. Fatty Wang often goes to China to buy cattle, sheep, and various things, so he knows a lot of people. In addition, Fatty Wang is his most trusted friend, and he can't leave the news, so Jiang Chen can only hand this matter over to Fatty Wang. Brother Chen, don't worry, I know a grass seed seller in Qi province. He is from the same hometown as the cow seller, and we have eaten together in a restaurant. He must have seeds. Call and ask. Okay. Fatty Wang took out his mobile phone and found the phone number marked as CDLIU among hundreds of mobile phone numbers. After the call was connected, Fatty Wang talked to the man for a long time before he hung up. Yes, he said he has Bermuda grass seeds, but only 100 to 200 kilograms. I asked him to quickly find other people to get me 500 kilograms and then transport it to Fangjin Airport by air. No, I'm afraid there are people from Dream Grassland at Fangjin Airport. You can ask him to transport the seeds directly to Urumqi International Airport, and then you can drive and take people to Urumqi International Airport to pick them up. Chapter 530, You Dare to Threaten Me? After Jiang Chen told Fatty Wang a few words, Fatty Wang drove to Urumqi International Airport. Let's not talk about Fatty Wang going to get seeds for now. After Jiang Chen sent Fatty Wang away in the bonded area, he also went straight to Lao Ma's office. Although this incident did not happen in China, it was around China after all, so he felt that he needed to report it to Lao Ma. After Jiang Chen reported to Lao Ma in Lao Ma's office, Lao Ma reported it to the province. When the matter was approved, the special zone also began to prepare. At dawn the next day, Jiang Chen rushed to the special zone and started to discuss business with the person in charge of Dream Grassland. The person in charge of contacting Jiang Chen was a Chinese who spoke very standard Mandarin. Jiang Chen didn't know why such a person chose to be a dog for Al-Qaeda. The two met in a remote factory area in the special zone. After meeting, the tall contact person looked at Jiang Chen and stretched out his hand, but Jiang Chen did not shake his hand. If you have something to say, just say it. I have brought the seeds you want. I want to emphasize that I will only trade with you once. Don't even think about asking me for seeds again. Okay, but you have to think about it. Desertification is a global problem now. Your seeds can grow in the desert. If you give us the agency rights, we will sell them all over the world. Wouldn't it be great if we could make money together? I've already said that. Let's not talk about this. Then let's trade now. The tall guy waved his hand, and the person next to him brought 2 boxes of US dollars. Jiang Chen also waved his hand, and 2 trucks of seeds were delivered behind him. Fatty Wang didn't want Jiang Chen to come, because the risk was too great. But Jiang Chen knew that, if he didn't come in person, the people in Dream Grassland might get suspicious. I hope you didn't lie to me, but I don't think you dare to lie to me. You know how many tourists there are in your scenic area now, but you also know that, if we send a human bomb there will be no more tourists in your scenic area. The tall man handed over the money directly, and Fatty Wang also handed over the car keys. However, the tall man didn't seem to trust Fatty Wang's truck. After all, if they put bombs in their pockets, then unload the seeds. After the tall man said this, a dozen of his men behind him could unload the seeds and then load them into their own jeeps. After loading the seeds, Jiang Chen was about to turn around and leave, but the tall man lit a cigar and shouted at Jiang Chen, "Are you in such a hurry to leave? Why don't you sit down and talk? I don't have anything to talk about with you." "Really? I don't think so. Bring me another 100 kilograms of desert sunflower seeds tomorrow. Otherwise, with just one word from me, a dozen bombs will explode in your scenic area tomorrow." After the tall man finished speaking, he took a few puffs of cigars and spit out circles. Jiang Chen stopped, turned his head, and stared at the tall man with a pair of eagle-like eyes. The tall guy was not afraid. Instead, he looked at Jiang Chen naturally and said, "Didn't I tell you? If we cooperate, I will guarantee that you will make endless money, but if you don't cooperate with me, I will never let you live a good life. You go back on your word? What's wrong with going back on your word? Don't blame me if you don't cooperate. Let me tell you, I have promised buyers from several countries. If you don't give me the seeds today, how can I explain to them? If I don't go back on my word to you, I will have to go back on my word to them. I can't afford to offend those people. After the tall guy took a few puffs, he threw the cigar on the ground and started to get nauseous. Damn it, Brother Chen asked me to kill him. Seeing that this man was so despicable, Fatty Wang was so angry that he immediately pulled out his pistol. But at the same time that Fatty Wang pulled out his pistol, more than a dozen people behind the tall guy also pulled out their pistols at the same time, and one person even burst out an axe submachine gun directly from the car. Back off. I told you to back off. When did you have the right to speak here? Jiang Chen gritted his teeth and clenched his fist, but after a while, he loosened his fist again. Okay, but I'm going to triple the price. The price remains the same. We can do this business, so we don't have to do it. Just give me the seeds and you'll make endless money. Why not? Double the price. Jiang Chen said coldly, and the tall man thought about it and nodded. Okay, since you're so obedient in cooperating, I'll double the price for you. Bring the seeds here at this time tomorrow, and I'll give you the money. We'll keep our friendly cooperation, and I'll guarantee that nothing will happen to your scenic spot. This group of people had thought about whether to take over Jiang Chen's scenic spot, but they were still more or less afraid of China's border guards. Tomorrow at the same time, remember that I don't want cash tomorrow, so prepare a transfer for me, Jiang Chen said, and wanted to leave with his men, and the tall man over there also took out his cell phone and made a call. General, everything is settled. They will bring the seeds tomorrow, but they will double the price. Jiang Chen's ears are very sensitive. Although they are far away, Jiang Chen has heard the content of his phone call. When the tall man hung up the phone, Jiang Chen turned around, took out his pistol, and banged his head directly. No one in this world dares to threaten him. If there is, then this person is dead. Ah. The tall man fell down. Jiang Chen's shot was really too unexpected, and his shooting skills were very accurate. The tall man had no time to react, and his head was blown up. When the other brothers saw this, they hurriedly took out their guns and prepared to shoot, and the sound of clattering had already been heard in the distance. Fatty Wang and Brother Long had already led people to shoot at the group of people. In less than a moment, a group of people fell to the ground. Brother Jiang, what should we do now? Drive directly to Dream Grassland, Jiang Chen said as he climbed into the car with Fatty Wang and headed towards Dream Grassland. Brother Jiang, what do I need to do now? As Jiang Chen left, Brother Wolf shouted behind him. Jiang Chen waved his hand and shouted, deal with the bodies of these people for me, and contact Leomar, and tell him that I have started to take action. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the Mercedes-Benz disappeared in the desert. When Jiang Chen shot and killed the tall man, planes from the Sahara Air Force Base in the distance had already taken off, and bombers and paratroopers were all dispatched. Jiang Chen is like this. He either doesn't take action, but once he takes action, he will never give his opponent a chance to breathe. Chapter 531, No Chance to Breathe. On the Dream Grassland, more than a dozen Al-Qaeda members were waiting for the tall man to bring the seeds over and then sell them all over the world. But what they never expected was that within a few minutes after the call, several bombers suddenly appeared in the sky. After these bombers flew over, they launched bombings directly at some locations on the Dream Grassland, where troops were deployed. With the rumbling explosions, several strongholds on the Dream Grassland were soon razed to the ground. After the bombers carried out a bombing, the entire Dream Grassland was in chaos like an ant nest that had exploded. More than a dozen helicopter fighters flew in the sky, and then some airborne soldiers quickly landed on the Dream Grassland. The helicopter fighters cooperated with the paratroopers to quickly occupy one military point after another. Dream Grassland was caught off guard. When the commander of Dream Grassland reacted, he had not had time to issue orders before his residence was directly hit by a missile and turned into ruins. Dream Grassland is not the main garrison of Al-Qaeda. There were only less than 200 troops stationed here, and the most powerful firepower here was only 3 or 4 tanks. However, these tanks were blown up by bombers before they could start. When Jiang Chen arrived at Dream Grassland, the Battle of Dream Grassland was over. The paratroopers had already controlled the entire Dream Grassland, and at the same time, Jiang Chen's follow-up troops, the tank battalion and the armored battalion, had already arrived at the main battlefield of Dream Grassland in time. This time, Guan Ku directly mobilized nearly 1/3 of the Sahara group's troops to be stationed in Dream Grassland. His purpose was to prevent the revenge of the Sac City Al-Qaeda. After Jiang Chen arrived at Dream Grassland, the commander of the Sahara Corps had already arrested all the Al-Qaeda members in the grassland. At the same time, those who went to Dream Grassland to gamble and engage in illegal activities were also detained. Brother Jiang, Dream Grassland has been occupied by us. In this battle, 2 of our team members were slightly injured. In addition, we destroyed 3 tanks, killed 110 Al-Qaeda members, arrested 93 people, and caught 974 people who came to gamble and engage in other activities. Jiang Chen walked to the casino of Dream Grassland, and Guan Ku had already counted all the data. Are the injured brothers okay? The injured brothers are okay. When we attacked the casino, we didn't pay attention. There were people hiding in the tunnel. They fired guns from the tunnel and injured 2 people. But because our team members were wearing bulletproof vests, the bullets did not penetrate the body. After Guan Ku finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. This group of bandits were very smart. They built tunnels under the entire Dream Strawberry. It's just that this battle came too suddenly, and they were used to moving on the ground. Many people didn't have time to run to the underground defense tunnels before the battle was over. That's good. Bring their leaders to see me. What Jiang Chen wanted to know most was the man named Morris who was in charge of Dream Grassland. Speaking of General Morris, Guan Cuo Sidon said, General Morris is not in Dream Grassland. He is now in Beatty to discuss business. Jiang Chen's nerves tightened instantly when he heard that General Morris had not been caught. Who is in charge here? It was a man named John, but he was killed in the explosion. That means that the person in charge of the entire Dream Grassland is now dead. How many subordinates does General Morris have? There is no result yet. Our people have never been to Sac City, and they don't know much about the armed forces of Sac City. But I feel that, if we use Dream Grassland as a front line, the armed forces of Sac City will not think of coming to the desert scenic area. After Guan Ku finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. What he was most worried about now was whether General Morris would lead troops to attack him after returning from Beatty. The only thing we can do now is to quickly build a defense base. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he walked out of the casino and began to inspect the entire Dream Grassland. The last time he came to Dream Grassland, he didn't study it very thoroughly. He just knew the location of the shopping area, casino area and Happy Valley. This time, after Jiang Chen drove around the entire Dream Grassland, he found that the Dream Grassland was well built in all aspects. Dream Grassland not only has various facilities on the ground, but also has a wide range of underground facilities. It seems that this Dream Grassland was indeed built by the third brother with great effort. In the evening, after Jiang Chen visited the entire Dream Grassland, he drew a map of the entire Dream Grassland. At the same time, he also drew the location of Sac City according to the description of the captives. According to the instructions on the map, Dream Grassland is sandwiched between Sage City and Sahara scenic area. The terrain here is very complicated. There is a mountain range to the south. There is a gap in the middle of the mountain. There was no one guarding the gap. But since Jiang Chen's grassland was established, some armed element have taken control there. Brother Jiang, I estimate that Morris will return tomorrow. If he can't contact Dream Grassland, he will definitely send someone to check it out, so we don't have much time left. Jiang Chen sat in the command room and looked at the map in his hand, thinking, I will go out and build an airport later and then transfer part of our air force here. In addition, I will build a camp for armored vehicles and tanks in the desert. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Guan Ku nodded. They didn't know how many troops the militants on the opposite side had, nor did they know how strong their firepower was, so all they could do was to put out all their strongest things. Brother Jiang, we need a gas station. Now all the planes and tanks need to be refueled. After all, you can't ask the plane to fly to the grassland to refuel and then fly back. Speaking of gas stations, Jiang Chen nodded. This is not a difficult task. At least it is not a difficult task for him. Don't worry about the gas station. Oh, and the communication. Take a helicopter to find Mr. Yang now and ask him to send technicians here to connect the information network here. It is already the information age, and the same is true for war. If there is no network covering everyone, all armed forces will not be on the same channel, and they will definitely suffer a lot when fighting. Brother Jiang, there is no base station here. Even if Mr. Yang comes, I don't know how long it will take to build the base station. Leave the rest to me, just do what I say. In Jiang Chen's eyes, all of this is not a problem. After all, with the system, there is nothing Jiang Chen can't do. Chapter 532, Dream Grassland Military Base. After Jiang Chen gave Guan Ku a few instructions, Guan Ku was ready to go to the Sahara group to deploy troops. However, Guan Ku stopped walking as soon as he turned around. He looked at Jiang Chen and asked, Brother Jiang, what should we do with the prisoners captured in our scenic area and the gamblers and prostitutes who were detained? Just hand over all those Al-Qaeda members to Leomar to deal with. I don't know how many people these people have harmed. Leomar is just trying to deal with them. Well, what about those people who were captured by Al-Qaeda in Dream Valley? Send them all to Leomar along with those who come to gamble. By the way, those who come to gamble, leave all their money and cars. Find an opportunity to auction them all, just as a way to atone for their sins. Jiang Chen thought he was not a good person, because when you face bad people, if you are not worse than them, then you will never be able to subdue them. After Guan Ku left, Jiang Chen also left the command room. He was going to start planting his defense base. The first problem to be solved was the airport problem. At present, the entire Sahara Corps has less than 15 fighters, 10 of which must be deployed in the Sahara scenic area. Therefore, Jiang Chen must build an airport here that can accommodate at least 5 fighters. The location of the airport is very important. This airport cannot be too close to the Dream Grassland, and of course it cannot be too close to Sac City, so Jiang Chen plans to build the airport in the north of the Dream Grassland. After selecting a place that is nearly 30 miles away from the Dream Grassland scenic area, Jiang Chen directly planted the takeoff airport in a relatively flat area. Click to buy desert cement, and then use one-click planting to set the appearance of the airport. Then, as soon as the golden light landed, a rectangular super airport appeared in front of Jiang Chen. After the airport was built, a tower was needed, so Jiang Chen planted a row of houses next to the airport. These houses can be used as towers and as accommodation buildings for pilots. After planting the buildings, Jiang Chen planted a small power station next to it. This power station is a power station that integrates wind and solar energy. Okay, we still need some lawns and street lights. Let's take care of them before General Morris comes. Jiang Chen started planting lawns around the airport. After planting the lawns, Jiang Chen started planting street lights next to the airport runway. At night, when the street lights are on, the entire airport is particularly conspicuous in the night. It's time to call Guan Cubic. Thinking of this, Zhang Chen dialed Guan Ku's phone number. Anyway, Jiang Chen's phone has a signal, no matter where he is. After the call was connected, Jiang Chen directly reported his location to Guan Cubic. Guan Ku hurriedly sent Jiang Chen's location to the Sahara Air Force, and the Sahara Air Force sent 5 fighters, 7 helicopter fighters and 3 bombers to the Dream Grassland Air Force Base. The annual military expenditure of the Sahara Legion exceeds more than 1 billion, and Jiang Chen allocates them more money for arms procurement. So the small group of Air Force fighters sent this time is less than 1/3 of the Sahara Legion. When the plane took off from the Sahara, Jiang Chen suddenly thought of something he hadn't done yet. Yes, his Air Force base was built, but he hadn't built a gas station yet. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen took out his phone and built a super gas station next to the Air Force base. After the gas station was installed and built, he calculated that this Air Force base cost him nearly 600 million yuan. It's really expensive. This small airport directly cost the money of a medium-sized Chinese company. It turns out that fighting a war is really expensive. Jiang Chen sighed, but there was no way. In order to ensure the safety of his scenic spot, he had to spend this money. After leaving the Air Force Base, Jiang Chen drove towards Dream Grassland again. There was another armored vehicle base to be built next to Dream Grassland, so Jiang Chen directly flattened Happy Valley and then built an armored vehicle and tank base in Happy Valley. After the armored vehicle and tank base were built, it was already late at night. The moonlight filled the base in the night. Jiang Chen was not idle. After he built a gas station in Happy Valley, he drove a car to build a gas station in the Dream Grassland town. According to Jiang Chen's plan, the fantasy grassland will serve as a military base at the southern end of the Sahara scenic area in the future. The Air Force is to the north of the grassland town, the armored group is to the southwest, and the land forces are in the town. After building a gas station in the fantasy scenic area, Jiang Chen built rows of houses on the flattened town. Of course, all the greenhouses used for gambling and the like were flattened by Jiang Chen. After flattening, Jiang Chen created patches of greenland in the town. Without these greenlands, information could not be transmitted on them. After planting the greenland, Jiang Chen used the excavator he planted to dig a super large pit in the town overnight, and then built a pool in it. When the pool was built, it was already completely bright. Jiang Chen was not idle after dawn. He built a base station on the east side of the scenic area. This base station will connect to the base station in the scenic area to transmit signals here. After the base station was built, Jiang Chen directly planted nearly 100 million stones and cement in the scenic area, and then planted 5 super trucks, 3 excavators, 4 bulldozers and 2 road rollers for the Air Force Base. These things are all used to supply the Dream Army to build defensive positions. After everything was built that night, just as Jiang Chen was preparing to build another underground castle, Guanku had already brought Yang Sheng and others to the Super Dream Grassland town. When Guanku came to the Dream Town again, he was shocked by the changes in front of him. That's right, Jiang Chen actually built a new town overnight, created a new airport and an armored cluster camp, which is simply a miracle. Of course, although they knew it was a miracle, not many people came to ask Jiang Chen. After all, there are too many miracles in the desert, and compared with other miracles, this just makes them feel a little surprised. Brother Jiang, fighter jets, bombers, and combat helicopters have already landed at the Air Force Base, and now the information unit of the Sahara Corps has also been stationed at the Air Force Base. Brother Jiang, I will immediately take people to maintain the base station, and I will strive to achieve full network coverage of the entire Dream Grassland this afternoon. After the 2 people reported, Guanku followed several people in military uniforms. Among them was a middle-aged man wearing the uniform of a regiment leader. He was the commander-in-chief of the Dream Grassland military base where the Sahara Corps was sent. Hello, Chief. I'm Zhang Liming, the commander-in-chief of the Corps sent to the Dream Grassland base. I have been ordered to take over the Dream Grassland scenic area. Please give me your instructions. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 533, Attack Instead of Defense. After Zhang Liming finished speaking, Jiang Chen looked at the tall and mighty military commander in front of him. He nodded and said, I agree to take over. Deploy defense immediately. Received. After Zhang Liming took over the defense zone, he began to deploy the military defense of the entire Dream Grassland. Time passed quickly, and soon it was noon. After noon, there was still no news from Sac City, and General Morris had no intention of coming back. At this moment, Jiang Chen, Guanku and Zhang Liming had begun to inspect the construction of the entire Dream Grassland base. The soldiers used the cement given by Jiang Chen to build a wall outside the city. In addition, the soldiers built several trenches outside the city wall. In addition, a large number of soldiers were busy building underground defense tunnels. It would take at least more than half a year to build these things completely. It was obvious that Jiang Chen and his team did not have much time left. Chief, I request to lead the troops to attack the Canny Pass. Only if we take down the Canny Pass can we attack or defend. Zhang Liming opened a map and pointed to the Canny Mountains and asked Jiang Chen. According to the instructions on the map, the Canny Mountains are in the south of the Dream Grassland. There is a gap between the Canny Mountains and the Dream Grassland. If we can occupy this gap, we can use the Canny Mountains as a defensive wall to resist the offensive of Sac City. What do you think, President Guan? Jiang Chen looked at Guan Ku, who began to think. In general, Guan Ku is a conservative. He is the last person to provoke a war. After all, he is a businessman. If a war breaks out, it will be harmful to his business. I agree with Captain Zhang's opinion. Instead of passively being beaten, it is better to take the initiative. If we occupy the Dream Grassland, we will cut off a large amount of General Morris's financial resources, so he will definitely make things difficult for us. Instead of doing this, we might as well take down the valley first and attack instead of defend. After Guan Ku finished speaking, the three people quickly reached a consensus. After the consensus was reached, Jiang Chen decided to act immediately, because Jiang Chen had a hunch that General Morris might have received information about the Dream Grassland at this moment. Chief, you are responsible for guarding the Dream Town, while I lead the people to attack the Canny Pass directly. After Zhang Liming finished speaking, Jiang Chen shook his head. He has never been a coward, not to mention how could he, as a person with a system, be afraid of the stage at this moment? I will leave with the troops. Let's not talk about other things. I urge you to stay in the Dream Grassland. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he set off towards the Canny Pass with Zhang Liming. The Canny Mountains are less than 100 miles away from the Dream Grassland, but because it is a desert, even if it is only 100 miles, Jiang Chen still rushed for nearly 2 hours. There are no defensive troops and horses on this road except yellow sand. When Jiang Chen arrived at the Canny Pass, there were indeed mercenary camps around the Canny Pass. There are 2 tall sentry towers on the high mountains on both sides of the Canny Pass, and there are 2 sentry posts at both ends of the Canny Pass to block the driving of vehicles. It was dusk, and there were not many patrols. The sentry posts were always closed, and no vehicles passed by. Brother Jiang, the fighter planes will arrive in 10 minutes. Let's let them bomb first, and then we'll set off. Zhang Liming finished speaking, and Jiang Chen nodded. After all, Jiang Chen's soldiers were expensive, and he didn't want to lose them on this small checkpoint. 10 minutes later, a bomber really flew from the Dream Grassland Air Force Base. After the bomber flew over, the people on the checkpoint immediately sounded the alarm. As the siren sounded, there were several rumbling sounds, and soon the whole valley turned into a sea of fire. After the first round of bombing, the bomber returned again, and then bombed several checkpoints on the top of the mountain. After the bombing was over, it was not dark yet, and Jiang Chen set off with a gun. I'll go to the left, you go to the right. Fighting in the desert is not like fighting in an oasis. In an oasis, there are signals, and it is a modern war. But there are no signals in the desert. Here, it's all old-fashioned fighting methods from World War I and World War II. Got it? Zhang Liming said, and 2 people led 2 teams to the valley. The heavy machine gun at the entrance of the valley had been blown down by the plane, so Jiang Chen did not encounter any obstruction from the heavy machine gun when he arrived at the entrance of the valley. Da. Gunshots were heard in the valley. After the gunshots, Jiang Chen pulled up the grenade and threw it. Boom. After a loud bang, the gunshots in the fortress stopped. Charge, Jiang Chen said, and soon a group of troops rushed over. The battle did not last long. After all, it was just a finishing touch, so the battle was over soon. After dark, Zhang Liming began to clean up the battlefield. After 2 hours of cleaning, Zhang Liming found nearly 20 bodies in the ruins. After the whole battle, no one was alive. After the battle, Jiang Chen asked Zhang Liming to withdraw the troops first, and he was going to start construction on the mountain. After all, this is the defense base of the entire grassland, so Jiang Chen is going to build them well. Speaking of construction, the first thing to do in Canny Valley is to build roads. When Zhang Liming's protection team withdrew to the Dream Grassland base, Jiang Chen built a wide road directly from the grassland base to the Canny Pass. After building the road, Jiang Chen planted street lights on the side of the road, and then planted 2 rows of desert-dwelling cacti next to the road. After completing the construction of the road, Jiang Chen started planting in the valley. The Canny Valley is very large, with a width of nearly 2 miles. The valley is a bit rugged, but those rugged places were blown down by Al-Qaeda. After Jiang Chen planted a road in the valley, he planted 2 rows of houses on both sides of the valley. These houses are all concrete and steel houses. The quality of the houses is absolutely no problem. Not to mention bullets, even ordinary bombs can't blow it down. These houses are built for the soldiers stationed here. After building the valley, Jiang Chen climbed to the top of the mountain. Canny Mountain is the largest mountain range in the south of the grassland scenic area. It starts from Huaguo in the east and ends in the endless desert in the west. Jiang Chen doesn't know how long it is. This mountain range will be my border from now on. Let's plant a road on the top of the mountain first. Since it is a border, there must be people stationed to guard it, so Jiang Chen rushed nearly 1 billion yuan without saying a word, and then planted a road on both sides of the mountain top that could accommodate a car. After planting the road, Jiang Chen also planted a few houses in some slightly flat areas. When all this was completed, it was already dawn. In the early morning, Jiang Chen came down from Canny Mountain. At this moment, at the end of Canny Valley, Jiang Chen saw several Al-Qaeda vehicles driving towards them. Chapter 534. Capture a prisoner and interrogate him. Before daybreak, Jiang Chen called Zhang Liming and asked him to lead the Sahara army to the Canny Valley. Now the road from Canny Valley to Dream Town has been repaired, so the soldiers came very quickly in large trucks. After the soldiers arrived, they were busy using the desert cement provided by Jiang Chen to build fortresses one by one. As soon as the heavy machine gun fortress in Canny Valley was completed, 2 military jeeps drove over there. There were no troops behind the jeeps. These 2 pickup trucks were probably sent by General Morris to investigate the situation. Everyone prepare for battle. Do you want to use artillery to shoot down the 2 jeeps? Soon, the 2 jeeps arrived within the range of the artillery deployed by Zhang Liming. Jiang Chen looked at the 2 jeeps and shook his head. Capture them alive first, and let's find out what the situation is in Sac City first. After all, this is a peaceful era. If the problem can be solved without artillery, then Jiang Chen still hopes that peace can continue. Okay, then I'll wait until they enter the valley and stop their car. As the 2 jeeps slowly drove to the valley, the people in the jeeps looked at the new changes in the valley, and the 2 of them were still discussing curiously. Sure, I haven't seen you build houses on such a high mountain in the past few days. By the way, why didn't I see any houses at the mouth of the ravine when I came here a few days ago? Maybe it's because we are about to go to war with China. This is our natural barrier. If we don't build it better, when the Chinese troops come directly, how can our Sac City defend it? I don't think they dare to act easily, because Sac City has at least nearly 20,000 troops, and we have fighter jets, artillery, tanks, and everything else. Even if they come, we can still fight. What's more, our Sac City is connected with many organizations in the desert. If we are attacked, other organizations will definitely give them a headache. As the 2 were talking, the jeep was stopped by a checkpoint in front of the valley. Damn, you guys don't have eyes. Don't you see whose car this is? A turbaned man sitting in the passenger seat rolled down the window and scolded a soldier at the checkpoint. As soon as the guy finished scolding, he suddenly realized that the soldier was wearing different clothes from them, and the submachine guns in the hands of those soldiers were different from the axe in their hands. Fuck, this place has been occupied. Hurry up and leave. The man in the passenger seat had just finished speaking when a gun was pointed at his forehead. Get out of the car. The jeep was about to back up when a group of people rushed out from under the rocks next to the valley. They went up and pointed their guns at the people in the jeep. The people in the car were also depressed. They just received an order saying that Dream Grassland had lost contact, so they were sent to Dream Grassland to see what happened. They often didn't expect that even the valley was occupied by others. Don't shoot, we surrender. We are General Morris's men, we surrender. There were a total of 5 people in the 2 cars. After they saw that they couldn't escape, they could only get out of the car and surrender. The soldiers pushed the 5 men in front of Jiang Chen. At this moment, Jiang Chen, Guanku and Zhang Tuanzhang were waiting for them in a small house in the valley. The 5 men were taken into the house. Jiang Chen looked up at the 5 men. One of them was Chinese, and the other 4 were Central Asians. Can you speak Chinese? I can speak it. I can speak it. The yellow-faced man said, and Jiang Chen began to interrogate him. Who are you? What are you doing here? Jiang Chen had just finished speaking, and several Central Asians who were kneeling on the ground were about to struggle. A soldier pounced on him and kicked the guy to the ground. We are General Morris of Sac City. General Morris asked us to come and see what happened in the grassland and why no one was sent to report the situation of the seeds. There was no signal in the desert at the moment, so there was no way to use mobile phones. Therefore, the only way for Sac City and Dream Grassland to communicate was to send people, to send messages to each other. Who is General Morris? How many people are under his command? Guan Ku pointed at the yellow-faced man, and the yellow-faced man hurriedly reported to Guan Ku and the others. General Morris is a small warlord in Sac City. He has nearly 3,000 people under his command. This valley and Dream Grassland are under his management. What's going on in Sac City? Jiang Chen knew very little about Sac City, and now was a good opportunity to get some information. Sac City was the location of Al-Qaeda before the desert came. After the desert came, many people died. Those who didn't die established many strongholds in the desert. Sac City is a relatively large stronghold in this area. How many people are there in Saco City? Who is in charge? What does General Morris do? Jiang Chen looked at the yellow-faced man and continued to ask. After all, this was a rare opportunity. Seeing Jiang Chen asking again, Huang Lian looked at Jiang Chen and bargained. If I tell you, can you not kill me? Yes, I can let you go. There are nearly 70,000 people in Sac City now, of which nearly 30,000 are armed. The armed forces are now mainly divided into 3 forces, and General Morris is just a small force. He mainly occupies a small town in the west of the city. He runs casinos and brothels in the town. Huang Lian said goodnight, and Jiang Chen nodded. If this guy is just a small force, then everything can be saved. What is the relationship between General Morris and the other 2 forces? General Morris and the other 2 forces are all related by marriage. The 3 of them are interdependent, and the 3 of them also control the economy and politics of the entire Sac City. After Huang Lian finished speaking, Chen Chen frowned. If that was the case, then the matter at hand was really not easy to handle. After all, there are nearly 30,000 armed personnel in the entire Sac City, plus other residents, a total of more than 70,000 people. With so many people, if a war breaks out, Jiang Chen may not be able to win them. Even if they can win, the price they pay is very heavy. Are these militants related to other militants? Sac City is connected to several other bases hiding in the desert. They were originally from the same country and they have the same beliefs. Before Central Asia was submerged by the desert, they united to fight against the United States and the government they supported. This is a sinful place. Before the desert submerged it, it was a turbulent place. God gave the people here oil, but someone made them a war-torn sinful place, so many people think this is God's punishment for them. After Huang Lian finished speaking, Guan Ku looked at Jiang Chen. It was indeed difficult to deal with. The powerful United States was helpless against these people, not to mention that Jiang Chen's power was far less than that of the United States. Chapter 535, Confrontation. Okay, take him down first. You can't kill me. You've already promised me. I've told you everything you want to ask. Don't worry, go down. I won't kill you. I'll need you later. Go out and wait. After getting Jiang Chen's assurance, Huang Lian followed the soldiers out with excitement. The room continued to be quiet. Jiang Chen looked at Guan Chu, and Guan Chu looked at Jiang Chen. The two didn't know what to do for a while. What are you afraid of? If they dare to come, we dare to fight them. Captain Zhang said on the side, and Guan Chu shook his head. This is not the time to act on impulse. This group of people is originally inhumane, and they have special national beliefs. People's hearts are originally united. If you use force, even if you defeat them, they will scatter like rats throughout the desert. At that time, they will cause some damage to our scenic area at random, and the impact will be far greater than if they are alive. Indeed, this is also what Jiang Chen is worried about. Jiang Chen still remembers what happened in the United States, so when dealing with this group of extremists, he must think of a special way. They dared to compete with the United States back then. They must have received a lot of advanced equipment from Laotia country. I'm now worried whether they have weapons that can hit our scenic area from Sac City. Yes, I'm also worried about this problem. Many countries in Central Asia have perished, but there must be many people alive before they perished. Will these people have gathered all the planes, tanks and other things before the country's demise? People of a small level like Huang Lian definitely don't know about the firepower of these militants. Can our interception system keep up now? When it comes to the interception system, Captain Zhang shook his head. Our air defense system has just been purchased and has not been deployed yet. In the past 2 years, the development of the Sahara army has also been very rapid, but people can't eat a fat man in one breath. The same is true for the Sahara army. Today, the Sahara army already has an air force base, a tank army, an armored army and an artillery base. But in the field of air defense, they are really a blank sheet of paper. I think we should ask him to come over and have a talk. After all, he was at fault in this matter. If it can be resolved peacefully, then we should stick to peace. After Guan Ku finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. After the two of them reached a consensus, Jiang Chen called the yellow-faced man in again. After the yellow-faced man was handed in, Jiang Chen gave him a way to survive and told him to go back and inform him that the dream grassland in Canny Valley had been occupied by him. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the yellow-faced man shook his head. If Morris knew that Jiang Chen had occupied his god of wealth, it would be strange if Morris didn't come to seek revenge. No, I'll go back and tell him now that he will definitely send people to attack you. Don't worry about the rest, just go back. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he asked the yellow-faced man to take the captives back together. After the yellow-faced man left, Jiang Chen quickly began to deploy troops. The current Sahara Legion has a total of nearly 10,000 people, and nearly 5,000 of these 10,000 people are all scattered in various scenic spots, responsible for duty tasks. Of the remaining 5,000 people, nearly 1,000 are stationed in areas where various groups are concentrated, such as the Wooden House Town. So the remaining people are their conventional combat forces. Jiang Chen plans to mobilize at least 2,000 people to the Dream Town military base. The Dream base will be stationed with 1,000 people, and at least 1,000 people must be mobilized to the Canny Valley military base. Let's not talk about the troops that Captain Zhang went to mobilize. After Captain Zhang left, Jiang Chen began to plant again. Since he wanted to make this place his own defense position, he had to solve the problems of food, accommodation, and drinking water. Originally, Jiang Chen planned to settle only more than 100 soldiers here, so he only prepared 200 houses for accommodation. But now that he has to arrange a team of nearly 1,000 people here, he must build another residential area along the hillside. At noon, Jiang Chen directly circled a piece of land on both sides of the hillside, and then planted houses and greenland. Then he rushed to a water source in a depression on the hillside. After the water source and other things were planted, Jiang Chen built a small signal tower here. This place does not need a base station, because after all, Dream Grassland already has a base station, so only one signal tower is needed here. As long as this place can be connected to the internet like Dream Grassland, then the entire Dream Grassland base will be able to communicate with the Sahara group and the special zone. After the base station was built, the soldiers outside had used the desert cement, bulldozers, and excavators given to them by Jiang Chen to dig more than a dozen trenches in the south of the valley. Some engineers even used explosives to blow more than a dozen holes in the mountains on both sides of the valley, and then camouflaged artillery positions inside. When everything was ready, it was night. After night fell, the entire Canny Valley did not rest. Yang Sheng brought people to repair the network, and people from the power group also rushed over to carry out power construction. Everyone was working against time. There was no speech all night. When the yellow-faced man drove the jeep back to Sac City, he told his leader the news that Canny Valley and Dream Grassland had been captured. His leader's beard stood up in anger after hearing this. The yellow-faced man advised his leader to report to Morris. But how could his leader be willing to report to Morris? After all, Dream Grassland was the project he was responsible for. If he reported it to Morris, he would think he was incompetent. After all, everything in Saco City was based on strength. If he was marked as incompetent, how could he be reused in the future? So thinking of this, Barbara, the little leader of the yellow-faced man, directly brought a team of nearly 500 people to attack Canny Valley. Chapter 536 Breaking Through the Checkpoint. Barbara felt that no one in the world knew Canny Valley and Dream Grassland better than him. After all, since the third brother was arrested, he was basically responsible for the entire Dream Grassland. The yellow-faced man told him that the current Canny Valley was no longer the Canny Valley a few days ago. The current Canny Valley was equipped with heavy machine guns, cannons, tanks, armored vehicles, and even fighter jets from Dream Grassland for support. After the yellow-faced man finished speaking, Barbara laughed on the spot. How could he not know about the Dream Grassland? Where did they get planes, armored vehicles, cannons, etc. in that place? Besides, the Canny Valley was full of sand dunes all the way. How could tanks, cannons, etc. be transported here? The yellow-faced man also said that a cement road had been built from Dream Grassland to Canny Valley, and offensive bunkers and heavy machine gun fortresses had also been built. Isn't this nonsense? Just 2 days ago, Barbara personally went to Dream Grassland. He discussed with the black big man at Dream Grassland how to ask for grass seeds from the Sahara scenic area. Jiang Chen was really timid at that time. They just threatened him a few words, and Jiang Chen quickly sold the seeds to them at a low price. It was nonsense to say that such timid people dared to attack their own grasslands in Canny Valley. Seeing that he couldn't persuade Barbara, the yellow-faced man wanted to meet General Morris in person and bring Jiang Chen's words to General Morris. After all, he felt that Jiang Chen was simply a god in the desert. Others could not do it at all, but Jiang Chen did it all overnight. Such a person had no way to be his enemy. The yellow-faced man was about to tell General Morris when he was discovered by Barbara. Barbara was so angry that he wanted to shoot the yellow-faced man, but his men stopped him. After all, there were really few people in Sac City who could speak Chinese in their language. So in the end, Barbara put the yellow-faced man directly in prison. Before leaving, Barbara looked at the yellow-faced man and said, "Just wait for me. When I conquer the entire Sahara grassland, you will know that you should shut up." After Barbara finished speaking, the yellow-faced man almost wanted to laugh. It seems that Barbara will never know that there are people who are better than you, unless he learns a lesson. When Barbara led a team of more than 500 people in an old military truck to rush towards the Canny Valley defense base had already taken shape. With the help of engineers, super trucks, super excavators and bulldozers, the Canny Valley defense base has expanded its defense to nearly 5 or 6 miles south of the valley. In the early morning, when the first ray of sunlight rose in the desert, Barbara had led a team of nearly 100 people to a place less than 10 miles south of the Canny Mountains. When the drone detected Barbara's location, the military information department quickly passed the news from the front to the military command. In the military command, Jiang Chen, Captain Zhang and Guan Ku were waiting anxiously. Report to the leader, a 200-man army is coming from the direction of Sac City. They are already within the strike range. Should we send helicopters to intercept them? The drone sent the footage to the combat command office. Jiang Chen saw more than a dozen dilapidated trucks and even a few old military jeeps. These equipments might be some transportation devices left behind by their country after the desert arrived. They are just a bunch of rabble. Guan Ku looked at the soldiers on the trucks. How could these people be called soldiers? They did not have military uniforms, and each of them was dressed like a bandit. Not only were these people dressed in shabby clothes, but their weapons were also varied. Some soldiers held pistols, some carried axes, some carried homemade guns, and the best soldiers were just soldiers carrying a rocket launcher. Seeing them, Jiang Chen knew that the Sac City armed forces were indeed not as formal as he imagined, but it was hard to say. It was possible that this armed force was just the most inferior small armed group in the Sac City armed forces. Let's go and see whether they are here to negotiate peace or to start a war, Jiang Chen said, and then he led Guan Ku and Zhang Tuan to the defense line. When Jiang Shan arrived at the valley defense line, the trucks and military jeeps had been blocked outside the first defense line. Stop the truck in front. If you are here to negotiate peace, get off and walk over. There was a military checkpoint at the intersection of the first defense line. Next to the checkpoint were two concrete fortresses, and a railing made of Sahara steel stood in the middle of the fortress. The people in the car did not come out, they just held the microphone and shouted at the truck on the opposite side. Barbara was a little surprised to see that the Canilla Valley had actually built a fortress. However, Barbara really didn't know much about the Sahara group. They thought that the Sahara scenic area was just a company. How dare they set up an army under the nose of China? Go straight ahead. Barbara shouted at the military truck in the front, and the military truck drove without hesitation and crashed directly into the railing between the two fortresses. Everyone thought that the steel railing in the middle of the checkpoint would definitely be broken after the truck hit it. Even if it was not broken, it would be bent, and then a road would be knocked out. However, to everyone's surprise, after the accelerating truck crashed into it with a bang, the interception post used in the checkpoint was not only not broken, but was only bent a little, and then it rebounded with a bang, directly flipping the truck to the ground. This steel is not ordinary steel. It is a type of steel that the Sahara Military Academy has just developed. This steel is made according to the proportion of the steel on the teeth of the steel-toothed beast. When the truck was flipped to the ground, everyone was dumbfounded. Barbara was so scared that his eyes almost popped out. It was the first time he saw such hard steel. After the truck fell to the ground, the soldiers on the truck were definitely not so lucky. They were wearing little to begin with, and the truck fell and crushed them to the ground. It was unknown how many of them could survive. Damn, what are you doing with the bazooka? Blow up the bunker, Barbara said, and soon the bazooka on a truck behind him was lifted up, and then there was a whoosh sound, and the bazooka exploded directly on a bunker. The power of the bazooka was well known, and everyone knew that no bunker could survive under the attack of the bazooka. But what surprised everyone was that after the rocket launcher exploded, the bunkers on both sides of the road were intact, as if a layer of skin had been blown off. Chapter 537, A Trial. Shocked, Barbara didn't know how to describe his feelings at this moment. What's going on? What's going on? What are their bunkers made of? Is it because our rocket launchers have not been used for a long time, so their combat effectiveness has failed? A junior officer next to Barbara said, and Barbara was also a little puzzled. Logically speaking, this rocket launcher should not be useless so soon. The battle has already started, and there is no time for Barbara to think about his rocket launcher. The heavy machine gun in the bunker was automatically raised, and the sound of gunfire was heard. Soon, the jeep in the front was shot into a sieve, and the people in the jeep were killed on the spot. Seeing this, Barbara hurriedly asked the driver to turn around and walk back. Then he ordered the more than 200 soldiers behind him to crawl on the ground and start charging. After all, this Barbara is an Al-Qaeda organization. He has seen all kinds of scenes. He will not be scared by the little firepower in front of him. More than 200 soldiers were lying in the desert and began to move towards the valley. When Jiang Chen heard the gunshots, he knew that the people on the other side were not here to negotiate, so there was no need to waste time with such people. Send out helicopters to show them some color. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Captain Zhang said to the intercom, "Helicopters take off." After the order was issued, the two combat helicopters hidden in the valley soon flew up with a buzz. After the combat helicopters flew towards the position in front of the valley, the Gatling machine guns on the helicopters soon began to fire. Barbara's weapons and equipment were simply worlds apart from Jiang Chen's. Jiang Chen would send out armed helicopters at any time. The armed helicopters were not only equipped with heavy machine guns, but also small missiles. In comparison, Barbara was simply too shabby. "Chief, this is not good. We have to retreat quickly. Their firepower is too strong." After the two helicopter fighters swept the ground, the crawling militants were almost killed. A rocket launcher soldier next to the truck aimed his rocket launcher at the helicopter fighter in the sky. Before he pulled the trigger, he heard a loud bang and a bomb fell directly on the truck, and then the entire truck was blown upside down in the sky. Da da da. After the helicopter fighter fired, the artillery array in the valley also began to bomb Barbara's position. After a row of heavy artillery came over, Barbara's people were blown up and fled backwards crying. Fortunately, Barbara reacted quickly. He drove faster than anyone else. But when a helicopter saw the jeep running wildly on the ground, they quickly intercepted the jeep. Surrender. Stop the car immediately, otherwise we will start bombing. The helicopter began to shout to the ground, and Barbara also understood some Chinese. After all, the people who do the most business with him these days are the Chinese. Well, drive faster, don't let them catch up. It was simply wishful thinking to want Barbara to surrender. Barbara asked the driver to start racing in the desert, but how could a jeep outrun a helicopter in a vast desert? Just as the jeep had just passed a sand dune, the missile on the helicopter was launched, and there was a loud bang, and the missile hit the sand dune in front of the jeep. When a big hole was blown up in the sand dune, the driver in the jeep turned the steering wheel and the whole car flipped over the sand dune. The helicopter was still circling over the sand dune, and the huge fan blades of the helicopter blew up the sand on the sand dune, and the sand soon blew the valley into a hazy state. Come out and surrender quickly. Walk on the sand dune, otherwise we will shoot you. The helicopter shouted again at the bottom of the sand dune. This time, Barbara had lost his arrogance when he first came. After all, he didn't even enter the valley and was directly blown up by the Air Force and artillery. With this equipment, even if General Morris came, he could only barely fight to a draw. Surrender. Surrender quickly. As the saying goes, a good man will not suffer a loss in front of him. Not to mention that the yellow-faced man once told him that Jiang Chen wanted peace and talk, so Barbara felt that if he surrendered, he might still get a chance to live. After all, who would want to die if they could live these days? Soon, Barbara and the driver climbed up the sand dunes and accepted the surrender. The helicopter did not drop the ladder. The people on the helicopter shouted at the two people to go to the Canny Valley. From the place where Barbara escaped to the Canny Valley, it was nearly 10 miles. The two people's jeep had been blown over, and it was definitely impossible to drive it. And it was soon noon. The desert at noon was so hot, it was simply suffering to the extreme. When Barbara arrived at the Canny Valley, it was already afternoon. After all, crossing mountains and ridges along the way was a waste of time. In front of the gate of Canny Valley, Barbara's follow-up 300-man troops had been captured by the Sahara army. When they arrived, they found that Barbara was gone. After Commander Zhang had a row of artillery fire, combat helicopters kept circling over their heads. These people wanted to run but couldn't, and wanted to fight but couldn't, so they had to surrender. Barbara was taken to Jiang Chen's command room, which was full of people. These were the military leaders of the Sahara army stationed in Canny Valley. Jiang Chen asked them to come, just to let me see his strength. Who are you? After Barbara was pressed into the room, he asked Jiang Chen. He didn't believe that Jiang Chen was just an ordinary businessman. Don't ask who I am. If you are a smart person, you can definitely guess who I am. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Guan Zheduo pointed at Barbara and said, "What's your name? Why did you come to attack our Canny Valley military base?" After Guan Ku finished speaking, Barbara was stunned. This Canny Valley military base seemed to be his. Why is this Guan Ku talking so loudly? You are the ones who have occupied our dream grassland in Canny Valley. Stop talking nonsense. Didn't the yellow-faced guy tell your superiors when he went back? If you have anything to say, ask him to come and talk to me. Jiang Chen realized at a glance that this guy was definitely not General Morris. For such a little guy, you can't get any results by talking to him. Okay, let me go back. I will inform General Morris and let General Morris come to talk to you. After Barbara finished speaking, Jiang Chen shook his head. How could it be so good? This man could actually bring 500 people, which proved that he was definitely an important figure under General Morris. You stay here for me. Write a letter and let your men deliver it to General Morris. If they want to save you, come and negotiate. If they don't want to save you, we will send your head over. Chapter 538, A City Built Overnight. Jiang Chen asked Barbara to write a letter, and then asked Barbara's driver to take the letter to Sac City. Barbara was detained and locked in a small house. There were 2 soldiers guarding the door of the small house, and Barbara looked out through the window of the small house. When Barbara saw a long green dragon appearing in the desert, he was not calm at all. Is that the legendary desert giant cactus? How can they suddenly grow so big? And what's the matter with that road? Did they appear out of thin air? Barbara was amazed by the superhighway that appeared in the desert, connecting the canny valley to the dream grassland. After all, it is impossible to build an ordinary road in the desert. Such a high standard road was built in just 2 or 3 days. It is no different from dreaming. Is that their tank camp over there? Those tanks look so powerful. They should be 4th generation tanks, right? The best tanks in Sac City are still 3rd generation tanks. They haven't been updated for many years. From Barbara's cabin, you can see the tank base in the distance. At this moment, there are at least 5 tanks parked in the tank base. These tanks are all the most advanced tanks purchased from China. At this moment, the tanks in Sac City are still the products of a few years ago, when the desert had not yet swallowed up Central Asia. When Barbara's driver returned to Sac City again in a dilapidated truck with Barbara's letter, General Morris also returned from Beatty. General Morris was very happy because he had already negotiated with the local tycoons in Beatty. If they can get the seeds this time, they will sell them to the local tycoons in Beatty at a price of $1,000 per seed. Now the Sahara Desert has spread from North Africa to Central Asia. All countries have been swallowed up by the desert, except Beatty on the coast. Because it is too rich, they use money to keep Beatty alive. Go find Barbara. Last time he said he could get the seeds of Sahara Seed Group. I want to see how many seeds he got. Report to General Morris. Barbara has taken people to Canny Valley early in the morning. I heard that something happened in Canny Valley. In front of a house made of earth, the tall and straight General Morris, wearing a khaki military uniform, smoked a cigar and stared at a concrete high-rise in the center of Sac City. The high-rise building is the residence of Mazak Bey, the largest armed leader in Sac City. Now he controls 2/3 of the territory of the entire Sac City. If I can get in touch with Beatty, then I can use seeds to exchange for Beatty's most advanced weapons. At that time, the ruler of this city will be me, General Morris. General Morris smiled as he thought about the good things. He even forgot what the staff officer beside him said. General, Barbara has gone to Canny Valley. I will send someone to inform him now. There is no communication between Canny Valley and Saco City. Today, Saco City still lives in an era without the internet and signals. If you want to make contact here, you can only go to see someone in person on a horse, camel, or motorcycle. Okay, send someone to inform him to come and see me. I have already told Beatty's people that I will hand over a batch of seeds to them at the end of this month. They will convert the money into the latest M19 submachine guns and sell them to us. With this batch of equipment, I'm not afraid, even if the United States comes. This group of people still feel bad about the United States. Although, they are now like mice hiding in the desert, and the United States has no mood to deal with them. Yes, I will send someone to find him right away. Before General Morris's men arrived at Canny Valley, they had already met Barbara's driver who hurried back. After Barbara's driver told General Morris's staff about Barbara's attack on Canny Valley, General Morris's staff was shocked. He hurriedly took Barbara's driver to General Morris's residence. After arriving at General Morris's residence, General Morris heard that Dream Grassland had been captured by Jiang Chen, and he instantly became furious. What's going on? What's going on? Do you know how much money I bet on Beatty? If I can't get the seeds, do you know how much I have to pay? General Morris bet almost all of his wealth on Beatty. If he succeeded, he would completely turn things around in Sac City, but if he failed, then his title of the Third Warlord would completely disappear. It was the Sahara group that started it. They are not as weak as we thought. They took away the Dream Grassland, and then the Canny Valley, while our people were not paying attention. Now they have stationed their troops in the Canny Valley. Commander Barbara led us to attack the Canny Valley, but their vitality is too strong. Nonsense. No one in this area can be stronger than our Sac City's firepower. General Morris has always looked down on the Sahara group. In his eyes, the Sahara group is just a grassland for tourism. General, I'm not talking nonsense. They have planes, cannons, and tanks. Everyone has submachine guns and heavy machine guns. After Barbara's driver finished speaking, even General Morris's staff couldn't help shaking their heads. If anyone can have such equipment, what is the difference between them and a country? We are in an unadministered area. How could anyone dare to sell arms to an unadministered area? Are you talking about the Sahara group or the Mojiang army? I don't know. They all speak Chinese, and they wear the same uniform. I'm afraid they are really the Chinese army. After the driver finished speaking, a group of people frowned. If they are really Chinese troops, then this matter really needs to be considered. After all, China today is not the country that was bullied 100 years ago. Why did they send you back? In a mud house covered with Persian carpets, General Morris kept dodging while smoking a cigar. He is now weighing the pros and cons. He can't afford to offend China, but after all, he has bet all his wealth on seeds. If he doesn't have seeds this time, it won't be a matter that can be solved with tens of millions. Report to the general. They want you to go over and negotiate with them. They said that if the general doesn't go to negotiate with him in person, he will kill the leader of Barbara. The driver told General Morris everything Jiang Chen said. He knew that General Morris was related to Barbara, and that Barbara's sister had married General Morris as a concubine. It was impossible for General Morris to leave Barbara alone. Chapter 539. Air raid on Canny Valley. Jiang Chen wanted to have a peace talk with General Morris. It was not because Jiang Chen was afraid of General Morris. Jiang Chen's air defense system had not been built yet, and Jiang Chen's construction in all aspects still needed peace. So what he had to do was to grow slowly. When he grew stronger, he could blow up General Morris and even Sac City with just one word. When Barbara's driver told General Morris what Jiang Chen said, General Morris began to think about it. After all, Barbara was his concubine's younger brother. If something happened to him, the other two warlords would definitely laugh at him. Is he really that strong? He is really strong. When he fought with us, he directly dispatched armed helicopters, and they had Gatling guns on their armed helicopters. After the driver finished speaking, General Morris's staff officer gave him a look. General Morris looked at his staff and asked, "What do you think?" The fact that they want to negotiate proves that their power is not as strong as we thought. Moreover, he has slapped you in the face. If we don't show some real ability now, even if we talk, we won't get any benefit. The driver couldn't hear the conversation between General Morris and his staff because he had been sent away. General Morris and his staff talked for nearly 2 hours, and finally they made a decision. Late at night, when everyone had fallen asleep, Jiang Chen stood alone on the top of the mountain, looking in the direction of Sac City, and couldn't fall asleep. At this moment, Barbara's driver had been back for a whole day, but there was still no news from Sac City, which was different from what he imagined, so he was a little worried. The second half of the night was coming, and under the starry sky, the entire desert was still very quiet. With nothing to do, Jiang Chen went down the mountain and drove towards Sac City. He planted stone pillars one by one on the only road from Sac City to Canny Valley. These stone pillars were cast with Sahara cement and were extremely solid. When Jiang Chen had planted stone pillars scattered over a mile of land, he suddenly heard the sound of a fighter plane flying across the sky. Jiang Chen's hearing was very sensitive. He could even sense the crawling of ants a few miles away, not to mention that it was the sound of a fighter plane. Oh no, they sent someone. This was Jiang Chen's first reaction, and then he hurriedly drove towards Canny Valley. No matter how powerful he was not powerful enough to compete with a fighter plane. The fighter plane above his head had not yet flown over, but Jiang Chen had already dialed the duty phone of the command room. After the call was connected, the person on duty was none other than Wang Liming, the person in charge of Canny Valley. Zhang Liming was appointed as the commander-in-chief of the Dream Grassland military base, and his deputy commander, Wang Liming, was appointed as the general person in charge of Canny Valley. Sound the alarm, the enemy planes are coming. Quickly notify the pilots to take off and fight. After the call was connected, Jiang Chen quickly gave the order. After Wang Liming heard it, he quickly pressed a red button beside him, and then the alarm in the entire Canny Valley was sounded. Beep beep beep. After the sharp alarm sounded, the soldiers in the entire Canny Valley military base soon got up, put on their clothes quickly, and entered the first level of combat preparation. After all the soldiers returned to their combat positions, the monitoring room soon monitored the situation of the fighter planes flying in the sky. The enemy has sent out a total of 7 fighters. These are all second-generation fighters, one of which is a third-generation fighter. These fighters are probably modified fighters. Although the communication is reduced, their combat effectiveness cannot be underestimated. After the person in charge of the monitoring room reported the news to Jiang Chen was still driving in the desert to the valley. Rumble. When Jiang Chen was nearly 10 miles away from the Canny Valley, 2 fighters and a bomber suddenly appeared above his head. The bomber seemed to have seen him, so a firebomb was dropped directly at him. Jiang Chen saw this, and knew that, if he didn't abandon the car, he would definitely not be able to escape. So in an emergency, Jiang Chen pushed open the car door, and rolled down to the bottom of the sand dune. When Jiang Chen fell into the depression between the 2 sand dunes, he heard a loud bang, and the car on the sand dune had been blown into a fireball. Sure enough, this General Morris still had some tricks. Fortunately, he fought with him in the Canny Valley. If he had rashly fought with him in the scenic area, he would have suffered heavy losses after the bombing of the plane. Oh no, this bastard seems to be targeting me. Just as Jiang Chen was sweating all over, suddenly the bomber in the sky threw another bomb towards the valley. At this moment, Jiang Chen in the valley, it was impossible to run, but if he didn't run, he would be blown into pieces of meat in a minute. No, there would be no meat left. It's over, we have to think of a way quickly. Seeing the bomb about to fly over, Jiang Chen hurriedly opened his phone and directly hit a steel structure house in the valley, and then he quickly got in. This was the only way he could think of to resist the bomb. Boom. An explosion sounded in the valley, and soon the earthen hills around the valley were blown into dust. Jiang Chen hid tightly in a corner of the house, and he felt that the whole world was shaking. The sound seemed to tear the roof apart in an instant. When the trembling ended, Jiang Chen's small building was also covered by dust. Damn, you bunch of bastards, you are lucky if I don't kill you today. Fortunately, a hole was blown in the roof, but Jiang Chen was intact hiding on the first floor. After the fighters and helicopters in the sky bombed Jiang Chen, they continued to fly towards the Canny Valley. The first 2 fighters to arrive at the Canny Valley this time were 2 fighters. After entering the Canny Valley, the fighters took the lead in firing at the 2 watchtowers on the top of the mountain. Da 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 da. In the night, several machine gun fire columns swept directly to the tops of the mountains on both sides of the Canny Valley. Bullets banged into the thick concrete wall of the watchtower. However, the bullet did not penetrate the wall. Of course, when the bullet hit the glass was still intact. The staff on duty in the watchtower were also scared and sweating, but they never expected that the quality of the cabin built by Jiang Chen was so good, and the glass of the window was actually bulletproof glass. Wan Liping, send out fighter jets to intercept and kill all these bastards. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 540, What's a few million? General Morris actually dared to bomb me. If he wanted to fight me to the end, Jiang Chen would definitely satisfy him. After Jiang Chen gave the order, the entire Canny Valley was in combat mode. Soon, 2 fighters in the valley took off from the airport in the valley. Then, 3 fighters from the Dream Grassland Air Force Base also took off from the Dream Grassland Air Force Base. The fighters Jiang Chen bought were 4th generation fighters produced in China, and his fighters have been fully intelligent and modernized. After all, the sky above the area, controlled by Jiang Chen, is now covered by the signal of Sahara Communication Company. These fighters also use these signals to communicate with the communication tower of the base, making the war modernized. There are 2 fighters and 1 bomber above Canny Valley. Get rid of the bomber first, Wang Liming said in the command room, and soon the Sahara Air Force fighter fired a missile at the bomber in the sky. This missile is a missile with positioning capability, so once it is launched, you can't run away. The enemy plane seemed to have discovered the fighter in the valley, so the 2 fighters instantly opened fire on the fighter in the valley. The fighter jets of the Canny Valley Air Force pulled up and rushed directly into the sky. The fighter jets on the opposite side, who had more people, also followed. Rumble. A huge spark appeared in the sky, as if it was a fireworks show. After the explosion of the bomber, the huge firework instantly ignited the entire sky of Canny Valley. After the bomber was shot down by the missile, the pilots on the bomber had already parachuted. As soon as they landed on the ground after parachuting, they were arrested by the soldiers on the ground. 3 more fighter jets flew in the sky in the distance, followed by 2 bombers. These 4 planes were very backward planes. Jiang Chen estimated that these 4 planes might be the product of World War II. They were not even 3rd generation fighters. This kind of plane might just be better than nothing. The 3 fighter jets covered the bombers and bombed the valley again. At this moment, the fighter jets of Dream Grassland had not arrived yet, so the valley turned into a sea of fire. After the bombers bombed the valley, they immediately headed towards Dream Grassland. Their plan was to bomb the Canny Valley in the first wave, and then bomb the Dream Grassland. Finally, their follow-up troops would be able to rush over and take over the Dream Grassland and Canny Valley. The battle continued. At this moment, Wang Liming was so anxious that he scratched his head. Because the missile defense system in the valley had not been built yet and the missiles had not been transported, they could only watch the enemy fighters wreak havoc on their territory without any way to deal with it. The only 2 fighters in the valley had already led the other 2 fighters to fly into the sky. Several other helicopter fighters in the valley had also taken off and fled to the Dream Grassland. Each of these combat helicopters cost nearly tens of millions. If they were bombed by them, Wang Liming would lose all his money. At this moment, Wang Liming could only let all the soldiers hide in the houses and not come out. Anyway, if they were allowed to bomb the houses, it would be impossible for them to collapse in a short time. Time passed little by little. After General Morris's fighter group flew over, a cluster of armored vehicles soon appeared in a silver desert. Jiang Chen could feel the ground shaking as soon as he climbed out of the house. Jiang Chen was also confused. He was just planting something. Why did you suddenly attack him? However, Jiang Chen knew that the only thing he had to do was to save his life first. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen got out from the roof of the 2nd floor and ran straight to the distant Canny Valley. From the defense piles set by Jiang Chen to the first line of defense in Canny Valley, there was a distance of nearly 10 miles. 10 miles is nothing for a plane, but there are sand dunes in front of you. It is a long way to go from one sand dune to another. Jiang Chen had just run for a while when he saw a group of tanks behind him in the moonlight. There must be at least a dozen tanks under the moonlight. In addition to tanks, there are also some armored vehicles. Although these things don't look very advanced, they are numerous. If a fight breaks out, it will be difficult to deal with them for a while. No, if we run like this, we will definitely not be able to outrun these armored vehicles. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen knew that it was time for him to spend money again. But in order to save his life, what was a few million? Thinking of this, he took out his mobile phone and directly planted a large truck. After the large truck was planted, Jiang Chen opened the door and got on the operating console, then drove on the sand dunes at full horsepower. In the night, Morris's Air Force had already rushed to the Dream Grassland, so at this moment, the Canny Valley also had a rare breathing time. However, after the tanks on the sand dunes discovered the large truck running under the moonlight, those tanks hurriedly adjusted their turrets and fired at Jiang Chen. The tank's range was limited, and because Jiang Chen took a long time to climb the sand dunes, the tank was not far away from him. There was a loud bang in the moonlight, and a bomb exploded behind Jiang Chen's car. Jiang Chen made a sharp turn, and another bomb exploded on his flank. Fuck, I've become their sitting duck. Jiang Chen was really unlucky. He thought General Morris would negotiate directly, but he didn't expect General Morris to do this. Brother Jiang, where are you? Is that you on the truck? Do you need support? Jiang Chen's cell phone rang. It was a call from the headquarters. Originally, after the Sac City Air Force bombed the Canny Valley, they were preparing to fire back at the attacking tanks. But from the monitoring room, they saw a running truck in front of the tanks on the opposite side. The truck was very familiar, so they didn't dare to act rashly for a while. Need support? Jiang Chen shouted, and he drove the truck quickly into a valley. When he drove into the valley, the tanks on the opposite side were suddenly blocked by pillars in front of them. Those pillars made of cement were stuck on every flat road. If these tanks wanted to move forward, they had to either slide down the sand dunes and then climb up again, or blow up all the pillars. Just after the tank troops in the front were stuck, General Morris's follow-up troops were also blocked behind the stone pillars. The opportunity on the battlefield was fleeting. If they did not quickly solve the problem of these stone pillars, then the Sahara Corps in the Canny Valley might reorganize the defensive forces. So there was no time to waste, so the engineers behind the tank troops hurriedly brought explosives to blow up the stone pillars. Grenades were tied to the stone pillars, and there was a loud bang, and grenade fragments collapsed everywhere, but the stone pillars were only broken. Chapter 541, Advanced Tank Combat. Rows of stone pillars blocking the road completely trapped General Morris's tank group and armored group. The temperature in the desert at night was very low at this moment. The nearly 1,000 soldiers following the tanks were shivering from the cold. Staying here for a while longer would be a little more dangerous. You must know that once it reaches midnight, the temperature in the Sahara Desert will drop to more than 30 degrees below zero. After all, it is still winter, and there is no grassland protection here. If these soldiers do not rush to the valley, they will be frozen to death. Bombs are useless. Quickly dig out the stone pillars blocking the road. After the captain of the engineering team finished speaking, a group of engineers took shovels and started to dig up the stone pillars. But what puzzled them was that, after they dug a super big pit, they found that the stone pillar was so deep that they could not see the bottom. Report to the leader. All these stone pillars are driven into the sand like telephone poles, and they can't be dug out at all. There is only one relatively smooth road from Canny Valley to Saga City. This road is blocked, so they only have one other choice, which is to cross the sand dunes. Crossing the sand dunes is not easy, because tanks are prone to overturning when going down the sand dunes, and those armored vehicles are also prone to overturning. The sand dunes here in the valley are like a small mountain, very steep. This is the only road they opened up. Just after Jiang Chen's stone pillar formation blocked the attacking tank clusters, Jiang Chen also successfully rushed from the sand dunes to the main road. After all, his big truck can adapt to various harsh environments. When Jiang Chen just drove to the main road, the reinforcement from Canny Valley finally arrived. This time, the reinforcement were still 3 big super tanks. These tanks are very fast. After all, the roads from Canny Valley to Jiang Chen's location have been re-leveled. After the tank troops arrived, standing on the tank with a telescope, they could see the tank group blocked on the road nearly 5 or 6 miles away. Jiang Chen got off the truck and walked to a tank. A commander came out of the tank. How is the situation in Canny Valley? Canny Valley was bombed, but the losses were small and no one was injured. The enemy's air force has gone to Dream Grassland, and the Dream Grassland air force has been dispatched. After the tank commander finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. He was relieved that Canny Valley was fine. What is the maximum attack range of our tanks? The maximum attack range is 6 kilometers. If we fire from here, we can hit the tank group on the opposite side. The maximum distance of 6 kilometers is the most conservative statement of the commander. Because at 6 kilometers, their tanks can destroy enemy tanks. If it is 7 to 8 kilometers, their bombs can also hit them, but the accuracy may be reduced a lot. At this moment, Jiang Chen's location is just right, more than 6 miles away from the enemy's tank group. If his guess is correct, if the enemy's tanks are stuck there and want to attack them, it will be a big problem. Fire. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and the commander waved the flag and issued the order to fire. Soon after the 3 tanks aimed, 3 loud bangs followed, and 3 shells were fired directly. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of shells exploding came from afar. Jiang Chen stood on a tall truck with a telescope, and a blazing flame rose from the tank group on the opposite side. The 3 tanks were directly blown up. The commander on the opposite side was busy removing the stone pillars and studying how to cross the valley, but he didn't expect Jiang Chen to fire. Because their tanks were relatively close, when the shells flew from a distance, they wanted to retreat but couldn't, and wanted to move forward but couldn't, and could only watch themselves being blown up. After the 3 tanks were blown up, General Morris's commander hurriedly ordered the tank group to retreat. When the tanks on the opposite side were advancing and retreating, nearly 4 tanks were blown up by Jiang Chen's super tanks. The other tanks on the opposite side fired at Jiang Chen, but their tanks were all products before the Sahara Desert flooded this place. The distance of the tanks was completely incomparable to the attack distance of Jiang Chen's tanks, so the bombs from the opposite side could not reach them at all. Jiang Chen had the advantage in the tank battle, but soon the opposite side changed their mind. They directly gave up the tanks and let the large group of people march towards the valley through the stone pillars. According to their ideas and plans, after the first round of artillery fire, there must not be much combat power in the valley at this moment. After all, how could they not know the place of Canny Valley? There was not even a tunnel in the valley, and after a round of artillery fire, they could not escape. So even if they could not reach the valley as expected, they could still easily occupy the entire Canny Valley with the advantage of 1,000 soldiers. After occupying the valley, they would use Canny Valley as a base to rest for a night, avoid the cold, and then march into the dream grassland. They would definitely be able to conquer the country in one fell swoop. After all, after a bombing, the dream grassland must have been broken, and after the cold attacked the dream grassland, even if there were people alive, they would be frozen to death. When more than 1,000 armed men rushed towards the valley, they could be seen from afar as a crowd of people was everywhere. Jiang Chen did not retreat. After all, there were at least nearly 200 soldiers stationed in the Canny Valley at the moment. These 200 people relied on powerful firepower and strong terrain. If they could not stop the 1,000 people, there would be nothing to say. Keep bombing those people, bomb them to death. The tank troops did not go back. One by one, the shells exploded in the crowd on the opposite side. After being killed, the soldiers on the opposite side quickly dispersed and attacked. When they were dispersed, it would be difficult to hit a few people, even if the tanks bombed them, so Jiang Chen ordered the tank troops to retreat. The ammunition is so expensive now. Fighting is not fighting, it is just a waste of money. So Jiang Chen was reluctant to waste them on the worthless sack of soldiers. After the tanks retreated, Jiang Chen also drove his truck towards the Canny Valley. Jiang Chen parked the car at the foot of a hidden mountain in the Canny Valley, and then he personally came to the first line of defense with a submachine gun, and began to command the battle. If he didn't see Morris's troops being defeated and dispersed today, he would not be able to get rid of his anger. After rushing to the bunker of the first line of defense, Jiang Chen's prepared artillery was already loaded. In addition to those artillery, there were nearly 20 heavy machine guns and more than a dozen light machine guns set up on the first trench. Chapter 542. Under the dark clouds. No one could have imagined what kind of battle this would be. General Morris almost came out in full force. He pinned all his hopes on this battle. If he wins, he will be able to fight directly from the dream grassland to the Satosinic area. At that time, he will be able to get the seeds in the entire Satosinic area without spending a penny. But who wouldn't want to do something good? When Morris's infantry rushed to the first line of defense 5 kilometers outside the valley, Jiang Chen waved his hand, and soon all the guns rang out. In the night, flashes of light kept spraying out in the trenches, followed by the screams of the Al-Qaeda infantrymen who rushed over and fell. The United States prohibits the sale of any weapons to these Al-Qaeda members. So at this moment, they are already very lucky to be able to get an AK, but even if you have an AK, what's the use? The heavy machine guns hiding in the trenches shot the soldiers who rushed over into sieves like harvesting wheat seedlings. The battle just started, and it seemed to be over. These Al-Qaeda organizations were not very disciplined to begin with. Under the heavy machine gun fire, they quickly retreated like a tide. They had just run a short distance when the platoon of artillery in the distance started firing. They heard a rumbling sound, and the soldiers who fled in the night were blown up one by one. The war was almost one-sided, and before they knew it, the night was deep. Jiang Chen led more than 100 troops to chase for 4 or 5 miles. Countless soldiers were killed in the artillery fire. Many soldiers fell from the sand dunes and fell into the sand valley because they ran too fast and suffered heavy casualties. When Jiang Chen was about to catch up with the enemy's artillery control area, Jiang Chen stopped. As the saying goes, don't chase a desperate enemy. Jiang Chen would not let his soldiers put themselves in danger. After all, he spent a lot of money to train each of his soldiers. Retreat. In the middle of the night, because there was no grassland, the desert was freezing cold. A group of soldiers wanted to pursue the victory, but Jiang Chen stopped them. The whole army retreats. Wang Liming also gave the order, and all the soldiers began to withdraw to the Canny Valley according to Jiang Chen's order. The night soon dissipated, and after dawn, Jiang Chen climbed to the top of Canny Mountain. At this moment, a little bit of smoke still rose from the desert from time to time. After a night of fighting, General Morris's army was completely wiped out. Before those planes flew to the Dream Grassland, they ran into several fighters of the Sahara Legion coming from the Dream Grassland. The fighters on both sides were not at the same level at all. The fighters of the Sahara Legion all had missile locking systems. They directly launched a missile, and General Morris's plane couldn't hide, even if they wanted to. In the end, they wanted to run, but how could a third-generation fighter outrun a fourth-generation fighter? What's more, they were all third-generation fighters. The invading air force was completely destroyed, and all the armored forces in the south were blocked halfway, and they didn't play any role at all. When General Morris wanted to organize his army to counterattack after daybreak, more than half of his more than 1,000 soldiers had been killed or injured. Those who were still alive were half dead because of the cold. Brother Jiang, our air force has assembled. Should we bomb the Sako military camp? Start bombing, Jiang Chen said, and the Air Force commander gave an order. 5 fighters protected 4 bombers and began to take off. The fighters protected the bombers and flew to the outside of the Canny Valley to bomb General Morris's armored group. After the bombing began, the incendiary bombs quickly set the armored vehicles on fire. Many armored vehicles wanted to drive back, but the armor-piercing bombs on the bombers dropped one by one, and instantly the armored vehicles that tried to escape were blown to the ground. General Morris commanded other soldiers to continue to retreat, but how could people outrun the bombers? So under the continuous bombing of several bombers and fighters, there were not many living people running on the ground. After the bombers carried out the last round of airstrikes, Jiang Chen led the soldiers to start the second round of assault. This time Jiang Chen's men were more than 200 people, and more than 1,000 soldiers stationed in Dreamtown almost came out in full force. When military vehicles loaded with soldiers rushed to General Morris's armored group, the few people left in the armored group had already raised the white flag and surrendered. They had already lost this big battle. After the failure of the charge yesterday, coupled with the cold at night, there were only 200 people who could really stand up and hold guns. These 200 people were also scared, so surrender was their only choice. What should Jiang do? Let them surrender? After Captain Zhang finished speaking, Jiang Chen looked at the more than 200 Central Asian soldiers who raised their hands to surrender, and he began to hesitate. But if they were all killed, it would be a bit inhumane, but if they were not killed, these people were Al-Qaeda after all. Letting them go back would pose a threat to their own scenic area, but if they were not let go, it would be useless for them to have them. Is Morris inside? Jiang Chen asked them. A man who understood Chinese hurriedly shook his head and replied, General Morris has returned to Sac City. Jiang Chen was even more troubled after that man said that. The leader had all run away. What would be the point of killing all these people? Leave those who are healthy as prisoners. Load the injured and seriously ill with trucks and let those who are not dead take them back to Sac City. Tell Morris that, if he dares to come again, don't blame me for attacking Sac City. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, some people took in the healthy soldiers in Sac City who were not frozen to death. After all, these people could at least operate tanks and armored vehicles, which was still useful. As for those injured soldiers who relied purely on brute force, Jiang Chen had already asked them to go back directly. If they stayed here, Jiang Chen would have to treat them. Letting them go back would only cause trouble for General Morris. Jiang Chen loaded the injured prisoners into the truck and sent them to Sac City. Time soon reached noon. At noon, Jiang Chen used the truck to pull all the armored vehicles and tanks that were barely usable back to the base. Jiang Chen did not immediately use the more than 100 people who surrendered, but kept them as prisoners in the valley. The daily task of these prisoners was to help build the Canny Valley military base. After cleaning up the battlefield, Jiang Chen returned to his office. At this time, Guan Ku had called the captured Chinese leader to Jiang Chen's office and waited for a long time. Chapter 543, Future Plans. What's your name? Jiang Chen asked the captive while sitting on a hard wooden chair. To be honest, the wooden chair was a little cold. My name is Jiang lied. General, please spare my life. I don't want to work for these Al-Qaeda organizations. It's just that I was captured here by them since my father's generation. I grew up in Sac City, so I can't go anywhere else. After Jiang lied finished speaking, Jiang Chen smiled. This guy actually has the same surname as him. What a fate. What a coincidence. My surname is also Jiang. Now I'll give you a chance. If you are willing to work for me, I can spare your life and rescue you from the shitty place like Sac City. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Jiang lied, who saw Jiang Chen's powerful firepower, quickly nodded and agreed. I'm willing. Are the armed forces of Sac City as strong as my equipment? No. Then if I lead my troops to attack Sac City, do you think we can conquer Sac City? We can conquer Sac City, but even if we conquer Sac City, you still can't govern Sac City. Why? Because the ethnic composition of Sac City is relatively simple, and they have their own religious beliefs, which makes them difficult to conquer, unless you kill them all. What if I kill them all? That's even worse. Sac City is just one of their strongholds. There are at least dozens of cities of the same size as Sac City hidden in this desert. If you massacre all the people in Sac City, then you will offend all the desert ethnic groups, and your scenic area will definitely not be stable at that time. Jiang Chen nodded after Jiang lied finished speaking. Indeed, Guan Ku had discussed these things with him. This is also the reason why Jiang Chen was not in a hurry to lead his troops to attack Sac City. Then how do you think I can solve the threat from Sac City? I don't know about this either. Jiang lied lowered his head after he finished speaking. Jiang lied was only in his 30s at the moment. Because his father had read some books, he was recruited by General Morris of Sac City as a junior officer. But he was unwilling to live in a purgatory on Earth like Sac City, so he wanted to change Sac City like many young people, and make Sac City a real paradise. Sac City has always been controlled by the older generation, and their era has passed. Young people want to change, and Sac City now has basically no foreign enemies, so young people want to study, and don't want to take drugs, run casinos, or traffic in people anymore. It is not an exaggeration to say that Sac City is a purgatory on Earth today, because there is no oil here, and there is no other economic income, so they have only one way to survive, that is, gambling, growing drugs, and then trafficking in people. And those who do these things are always rich. There are many poor people in Sac City. If those poor people want to survive, they either grow drugs for those warlords or fight. If they died in the struggle between several warlords, then the only way for his family to survive was to sell their daughters and sons. So even though many young people wanted to change this situation, especially some young people, the young people went to the dream grassland, and they got news from the dream grassland that there was green grass in the world that could be planted in the desert. As long as they got this green grass and turned Sac City into a piece of arable land, then they would no longer have to do those things that made them poor for generations. Do you mean that I should foster a new force? Yes, they can only be disintegrated from the inside. If the leader can foster those poor young people at the bottom and turn them into the three major armed forces of Sac City, let them master the armed forces of Sac City, and then give them seeds. Let them develop, build schools for them, and let them have books to read. Then needless to say, they will not only not become a hidden danger to the Sahara scenic area, but will also promote the development of the Sahara scenic area. After Jiang lied finished speaking, he seemed to suddenly see a clear path. Indeed, this is a clear path that can allow Sac City to develop for a long time. However, this bright road is not so easy to take, because it is difficult to let Jiang Chen support the power of Sac City. Moreover, if you want to truly support Sac City, it is not enough to give a few weapons. You have to contribute your most precious seeds. Not only that, even if the youth army overthrows the three major armed forces of Sac City, you must provide them with a steady stream of funds to stabilize their income and support the nearly 90,000 people in Sac City. After Jiang lied finished speaking, Jiang Chen also began to think deeply. In the final analysis, Jiang Chen wants peace, because Jiang Chen's ultimate goal is to enter the depths of the desert, and then find the cause of the desert raging, and finally bring the bodies of his parents and grandfather back to his hometown for burial. I agree with you. If you can really find a suitable young leader, someone who can really bring Sac City to a more prosperous place, then I'm willing to provide him with firepower and military and other assistance. Jiang Chen is not short of money now, but anything that can be solved with money is not a problem for him. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Jiang Lied was a little surprised. He never expected that Jiang Chen would agree so straightforwardly. However, Jiang Lied thought about it carefully, and he really knew such a person. This person was a native of Sard City, and he was also very young, and had great prestige among the young people. Chief, I know such a person. As long as the chief can let me go back, I will definitely contact him. I will bring him to Canny Valley to talk to you in person. After Jiang Lied finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. He decided to let Jiang Lied go back. Even if Jiang Lied lied to him, it didn't matter, because keeping Jiang Lied here would be useless, except wasting his own food. When General Muris returned to Sard City, the sky in Sard City had changed. Originally, Sard City was a three-way tripod. Mazaka Bay controlled 2/3 of the territory of Sard City, and Muris and Malapu controlled the other 1/3 of the territory. Just because Muris had connections with outsiders, the other two warlords were still a little afraid of him. However, with the failure of the Muris Prairie Scenic Area and the failure of the Canny Valley battle, this directly led to the fact that Muris's strength was no longer able to control the western region. So when General Muris just returned to his garrison, another battle soon broke out. This battle was initiated by Mazaka Bay, who led his army to directly attack the location of General Muris. At this moment, General Muris still had nearly 1,500 people and more than 20,000 civilians in the west of Sac City. He used the terrain to fight with Mazaka Bay. However, most of General Muris's elite troops died in the Canny Valley, so his troops retreated step by step. Chapter 544, Construction of Mechanical Town. Seeing that General Muris was about to be driven out of Sac City, General Merapu led his army to attack Malacca Bay's lair. General Merapu was originally a very weak warlord, and he was an ally of General Muris. When General Muris was defeated, Malacca Bay negotiated with Merapu, and they wanted to divide General Muris's territory equally. But Merapu was not so easy to deceive. Once General Muris was swallowed up, the next unlucky person would definitely be him. So Merapu agreed to Malacca Bay on the surface, and when the war really started, he turned around to help General Muris. The three-way battle started, like a war of three countries. Gunshots continued to ring in Sac City, shells blew up one neighbor after another, and countless refugees died under the gun. When Malacca's troops entered General Muris's territory, the soldiers began to burn, kill and loot. The battle in Sac City was a protracted battle, and no one would mediate for them. The last battle lasted for more than 2 months, and in the end, the three parties had to compromise with each other because of heavy losses. Half a month passed in a blink of an eye. After the arrival of spring, the number of tourists in the Sahara Scenic Area exploded. Tourists who could not make it because of traffic problems now flocked to the Sahara Scenic Area in spring because of the opening of the Mogan Expressway. After the arrival of spring, there was no news of Jiang Lied for a long time, so Jiang Chen had to leave the Canny Valley and return to the Sahara Scenic Area. He had a lot of things to do in the spring, such as Lu Zimin's urban bulldozing plan, which was implemented very quickly, and the entire mechanical town had been flattened, so Jiang Chen needed to green the mechanical town and build houses. When he arrived at the mechanical town, the bulldozers and excavators in the mechanical town had all been withdrawn. Jiang Chen drove around the entire mechanical town. At this moment, the entire mechanical town had become a large plain, and Jiang Chen was very satisfied. It's time to start construction. The construction of the mechanical town is very simple, and it is not a scenic spot, so he doesn't need to consider any scenic spots. There is no need to consider what flowers to plant or what kind of houses to build. What he needs to do is very simple. Just keep planting grass and houses, and everything will be okay. Because Jianatang University is confidential, it should be far away from the town. Let's build Jianatang University and Mechanical University in the center of the town. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen began his construction task. He first built an outer ring road around the mechanical town, and then built a tic-tac-toe transportation hub in the middle of the entire mechanical town. The middle of this tic-tac-toe is where Jianatang University and Mechanical University are located. Click to buy desert cement, and then pave the road. When all the roads were paved, it was already evening. In the evening, Jiang Chen planted street lights on the main road of the tic-tac-toe. After the street lights were planted, facing the last ray of sunlight in the evening, all the street lights were soon charged. After the street lights were charged, the entire mechanical town also entered a world of lights. After the street lights were lit, standing in a wilderness, Jiang Chen lit a cigarette. The spring wind was still warm, but as the night approached, the weather became colder and colder. After extinguishing his cigarette, Jiang Chen had already gotten used to the loneliness of being in the wilderness. Let's plant the food and accommodation building of Jianatang University first, Jiang Chen said as he began to plant houses. Jianatang University and Mechanical University are two universities next to each other, but in order to better distinguish them, Jiang Chen did not choose to plant the same food and accommodation building. Jiang Chen selected two different types of houses from the system and began to plant in the places he had specified. When the food and accommodation buildings of the two universities were finished, it was almost dawn. Seeing that the sky was about to get light, Jiang Chen yawned and started the next wave of planting. The food and accommodation buildings of the two universities have been built, and their teaching buildings and research laboratories cannot be planted after they are built, because Jiang Chen only has ordinary housing here. The next step is to plant the town government. Because this is not a scenic spot, the management of this town should be handed over to the town government. Jiang Chen was also very concerned about the choice of the town government, because this kind of government unit should be close to the city. So Jiang Chen chose to plant the town government in the south of the university. The city government is located in the south of the university, close to the outer ring road of the city. Jiang Chen's planting is also very simple. He planted some villas and then some residential buildings. The villas are used as offices of the city government, and the residential buildings are sold to people working in the town government. After building the town government, Jiang Chen drove to the east of the mechanical town. To the east of the mechanical town, Jiang Chen plans to build a street here. This street is called the shopping street of the mechanical town. In the future, this shopping street and the commercial center will serve as a living, financial and shopping integrated area jointly owned by the ancient capital scenic area and the mechanical town. The construction of the shopping street is old-fashioned. Just plant a piece of green land and then create 2 rows of shopping streets according to the characteristics of the street. Finally, 2 shopping plazas are built on both sides of the shopping street near the intersection, so this problem is solved. The shopping street looks simple, but it really takes a lot of time to plant it. Because you have to plan the location of the shopping street, calculate the length and width of each house, and design where to leave a park, where to leave a road, where to do greening, etc. After the construction of the eastern street, the remaining tasks were the planting of the technical school and 2 factories. Jiang Chen's plan was to build the 2 factories at the 2 northernmost entrances of the tic-tac-toe intersection, and the technical school was located between the 2 factories. The reason for this design was also very simple, because the purpose of the technical school's annual enrollment was to serve these 2 factories, so the technical school was between the automobile factory and the machinery factory. The other 2 factories, 1 factory occupied a tic-tac-toe intersection. The outer entrance of this tic-tac-toe intersection was in the endless desert, and they could continue to extend outside the desert in the future. According to Jiang Chen's plan, the things that his automobile factory and heavy industry factories such as excavators might produce in the future would occupy a very large area, so this would leave space for their factories to go out. When Jiang Chen built the greening and houses of the 2 factories and the technical secondary school, the entire machinery town only had 2 wellheads near the outer ring road that had not been built. The location of these 2 wellheads was particularly good, close to both sides of the town government. One side was adjacent to the financial street, and the other side was also adjacent to another town that was about to be built. After thinking about it, Jiang Chen decided to build these 2 very large areas into communities. Now Jiang Chen has a 7-story residential model house in his hands. The area of this place is large enough, and the desert cannot be built too high, so Jiang Chen decided to build them all into 7-story super residential areas. After Jiang Chen completed the residential areas on both sides of the city government, the entire mechanical town was also completed. It took nearly half a month to complete the construction of the town. June ended unknowingly. The end of June marks the arrival of summer vacation in China. At the same time, China enters summer and the Sahara scenic area has officially entered the most intense spring. With the arrival of the hot period in China and the summer vacation, Jiang Chen knew that his golden period for travel had arrived. Chapter 545 Random Name. In June, everything was just as Jiang Chen expected. The golden season of tourism in Sahara scenic area has arrived. In the first week of June, the scenic area directly received nearly 3 million tourists. Every day, the registered tourists from all over the country crowded the major travel agencies. At the same time, the buses of major travel agencies to the scenic area were all fully booked. Not only that, the major provincial capitals added flights to the special zone, and the flights were also full. With the surge in tourists, the income of Jiang Chen scenic area and travel agencies has risen steadily. At the same time, with the increase in tourists, the hotels, cinemas, commercial streets and souvenir factories in the scenic area have also made a lot of money. In mid-June, Jiang Chen rarely got a sum of money in the middle of the season. This money was the money from Jiang Chen's sale of the machinery town and the ancient capital scenic area. Together with the dividends from several other scenic spots and Sahara group, the total amount was close to more than 30 billion. Suddenly having such a large sum of money, Jiang Chen not only did not feel happy, but suddenly he became even busier. Because his money could not be deposited in the bank to earn interest, he had to get it out and invest it quickly to make money. Speaking of investment, Jiang Chen now has something to invest in. Yes, he decided to invest in education and talents. With the arrival of summer vacation, the enrollment of Peking University and Tsinghua University Grassland College, as well as the Jianatang University, Mechanical University and Sahara Mechanical School, which Jiang Chen had just established, began. The university has been built, and the next step is enrollment. Enrollment is a big deal. If the source of students is good, then this will greatly promote the development of the Sahara scenic area. And because of the arrival of students, these young atmospheres will fill the entire Sahara scenic area. Because of young people, a city will become vibrant. Of course, more importantly, the future world is a world of talents. Whoever masters the talents will master the world. Therefore, in order to recruit outstanding students, Jiang Chen decided to use his influence to start another live broadcast to promote it. After all, there are too few people who know about Jianatang University and Mechanical University now. The enrollment qualifications of the two universities have been reported. For this report, Jiang Chen donated billions to the Shangjing Education Foundation. The money has been donated. If you can't recruit outstanding talents, you will lose a lot. Of course, Jiang Chen would never push things so hard when it comes to live broadcasts for advertising. With the arrival of late spring, the entire ancient capital scenic area is open to the public. So Jiang Chen plans to promote the ancient capital scenic area, and while promoting it, he will also advertise the university. In the early morning, when it was just dawn, Jiang Chen drove to the starting point of the ancient capital scenic area. The starting point of the ancient capital scenic area is in a grassland. This grassland was planted by Jiang Chen when Fatty Wang fell into the quicksand, so this small grassland is also called the miracle grassland. When Fang walked into the miracle grassland, the first thing that caught his eye was a huge billboard, which indicated the order and map of the attractions in the entire Wangdu scenic area. At the bottom of the map, there is also a huge slogan, "Welcome to the Salman Dynasty Ancient Capital Scenic Area." Hello everyone, I'm Jiang Chen who loves farming. Today I will take you to visit a new scenic spot. This scenic spot is also our main super scenic spot this year. It is also a new scenic spot that ranks with the Bermuda Desert Oasis scenic spot, the Grassland scenic spot, the Wooden House Town scenic spot and the Cactus Forest World scenic spot. After Jiang Chen turned on the live broadcast, nearly 8 million tourists arrived in his live broadcast room soon. Today, Sahara Live is no longer the unknown small live broadcast website. After Zia Donghae created the Sahara Live platform, it quickly became popular. With Sahara Live, Sahara Payment and My Sahara Story Network as collateral, plus the Sahara Media Group building located in the center of the Special Administrative Region, Zia Donghae quickly borrowed tens of billions from the bank. After having the money, Zia Donghae immediately created Sahara Video and Sahara TV. In addition to Sahara TV, Xia Donghae also created several particularly popular variety shows, which made Sahara Live, Sahara Video and Sahara TV a success. For example, one of the yellow card programs jointly produced by Sahara Live and the TV station, Brothers Run, has many interactive programs that are broadcast live on Sofa Live. There is also Longing for the Little House produced by him, which is mainly about celebrities experiencing rural life. It has now reached the second season. In the second season, they chose a little house on the grassland and asked various celebrities to come and live, cook, farm, etc. Their program is also broadcast live on the Sofa Live platform all day, so this has brought super hot traffic to Sahara Live. Therefore, as soon as Jiang Chen opened the live broadcast, there were more than 8 million tourists, which is not surprising at all. Pineapple Jun, it's great that the anchor is broadcasting again. The plum blossom scenic spot recommended to us last time is really good. The plum blossom is really fragrant. Owl, yes, and the pass is too attractive. I bought a pass and visited all the scenic spots. The scenic spots in Sahara are really shocking. I love drinking Coke, it's really shocking. If you can go to the scenic spot when the flowers are blooming or the grassland is full of grass, I guess it will be a real paradise on earth. Zinran's mother, thank you for the anchor's recommendation of the grassland milk powder. The grassland milk powder is really good. After our children ate it, not only did their sleep quality improve, but they also kept up with the nutritional examinations in all aspects. The most important thing is that the price is really suitable. Jelly mother, yes, the price is really suitable. The imported milk powder we eat costs 2,000 yuan per can, and the quality is not as good as this 500 yuan grassland milk powder. Thank you for your support. I have told their president that we must ensure the quality of milk powder. My milk powder is responsible for the children and parents. We don't ask for much money, but what we want to do is to make our offspring grow up healthily, who can't say nice things. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and his fans quickly gave thumbs up. I'm a big star. Look, everyone, this is a real star company. Look at those milk powder companies at home and abroad. One by one they are thinking about making money. The prices are ridiculously high, and the quality is not seen. How good is it? Jelly mother, your quality is no problem. I'm now worried about one thing, that is, will you suddenly increase the price after the trial period? Dark cuisine, it's really hard to say. Many companies are like this. At the beginning, the price is very low, but soon the price is raised. After a group of people finished speaking, many fans began to question. Seeing everyone questioning, Jiang Chen hurriedly answered everyone. Don't worry, our prices will never skyrocket. We will sell them at 500 per bucket. Of course, there will definitely be normal price increases. After all prices will rise. But don't worry, our price increase is consistent with that of domestic first-line brands. We will do the same as this. If our prices are higher, you can directly call me on my live broadcast. I will make them pay you double the amount. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, a group of fans became excited. That's right, if they can spend the money of domestic milk powder to buy milk powder of imported milk powder quality, how can they not be excited? Duodo's mother, that's great, then our babies will order your milk powder in the future. Zinran's mother, both of my babies use your milk powder. After the feedback on the milk powder, Jiang Chen began to promote the new scenic spot. Now I will introduce a new scenic spot to you. It is called the ancient capital of the Salman dynasty. You can tell the characteristics of this scenic spot from the name. Chapter 546. The first cultural scenic spot opens. Speaking of the ancient capital of the Samanid dynasty, a group of tourists soon became excited. The scenic spots that Jiang Chen promoted were basically natural landscapes, and there was really no cultural and historical scenic spot like this. Little Rabbit, host, are you saying that you have found the ancient capital of the Samanid dynasty? Bazahi, you are really amazing. The Samanid dynasty is a very legendary dynasty. In the historical documents, it seems that it evaporated in an instant. If you can find the ancient capital of the Samanid dynasty, I believe there will be a lot of people going to see it. Leo Niu talks about history. Host, don't lie to us. If you can find the ancient capital of the Samanid dynasty, then I can tell you with certainty that you will definitely be the first in the world's top 10 archaeological discoveries this year. Leoniu talks about history about archaeological discoveries. Jiang Chen really didn't care. After all, as long as he promotes the ancient capital of the Samanid dynasty, then there will definitely be people watching, and he doesn't need to hang up the gimmick of the top 10 archaeological discoveries to attract people. Really, we have found the ancient capital of the Salman dynasty. Our Salman dynasty scenic spot is based on the Salman dynasty. Well, let's not waste any more time and start the tour. Jiang Chen didn't want to discuss the history of the Salman dynasty with them. After all, Jiang Chen didn't know much about it. Jiang Chen was a person who made money from the scenic spot, so it was better to leave these things to Professor Fang Hua and others to study. First, let's visit the first scenic spot in the Salman dynasty ancient capital scenic spot. Jiang Chen said, and aimed the video at the big sign of Miracle Grassland. Behind the big sign of Miracle Grassland is a large grassland, and walking on the grass of Miracle Grassland, not far away, there are 2 large pits with signs hanging on the pits, where Jiang Chen bravely rescued his compatriots. Looking at the sign and the clay sculpture of Jiang Chen saving the fat man, Jiang Chen was very embarrassed. This place is called Miracle Grassland. The grassland does not cover a large area, but the magic of this grassland is that there are quicksands around it. Jiaotalang, quicksand. The quicksand in the desert is very dangerous. If a person falls into the quicksand, the chance of survival is very small. The scenery is different in 4 seasons. Yes, quicksand is indeed very dangerous. Is this also your scenic spot? Yes, this is our first scenic spot. After you come here, you can watch the sunrise and sunset in Miracle Grassland. Of course, the quicksand area is ahead. The quicksand area will definitely guarantee everyone's safety. You can follow me to continue to take a look. Jiang Chen drove to the quicksand area while talking. The quicksand area planned by President Luo is really good. Almost every quicksand area is marked by a big sign, and each quicksand point is connected by a wooden bridge. When you see the quicksand, you must see it from the wooden bridge. After Jiang Chen led everyone to take a brief look at the quicksand area, he drove towards the Dark River Scenic Area. After arriving at the Dark River Scenic Area, Jiang Chen got out of the car and walked towards the Dark River Scenic Area with his mobile phone. There were already many tourists playing in the Dark River Scenic Area, and these tourists were all family members of the scenic area. Then come with me to see the Scenic Area. Everyone must have known about the dark rivers in the desert, but many people have never seen dark rivers, especially the dark rivers in the Death Desert. Today I will take you to see them and broaden your horizons. Jiang Chen said as he walked to the Dark River Scenic Area and started live broadcasting. In Jiang Chen's camera, the first thing that caught his eye was still a vast desert. This desert is no different from other deserts. If you have to find a different place, it is that this desert is a bit flat. In a flat desert, more than a dozen large holes were dug by humans. There are several circles of fences in front of the cave entrances. If you walk to the fence and look inside, you can see the dark river surging under the desert. Of course, when you walk to a sand dune, you can also hear the sound of water splashing when you put your ear to the sand. Nowadays, there is much more water in the underground river than before. The original underground river was pure natural water, but now the underground river has been transformed. The water source of the underground river is connected to the super artificial lake in the ancient capital scenic area, which is also to ensure that the underground river can flow continuously. To be honest, there is not much to see in the underground river scenic area. This area is just some natural scenic spots, and it is also a popular science base. Like the quicksand scenic area, this place is mainly for tourists who have never seen underground rivers and quicksand to learn about it. After leading everyone to visit the underground river scenic area, Jiang Chen drove everyone directly to the mushroom forest scenic area. Indeed, if we talk about scenic spots, the first 2 scenic spots can indeed be regarded as large scenic spots if placed in China, but in the Sahara, where there are always 5-star scenic spots, they really have nothing to see. But the desert wind erosion mushroom forest scenic area in front of us is another matter. The desert mushroom forest is a very unique scenic spot, and this feature cannot be replicated by man. Hello everyone, the scenic spot I'm going to introduce to you now is called the Wind Erosion Mushroom Maze Scenic Spot. You can see that all the wind erosion mushrooms here are naturally formed. According to our statistics, there are a total of 10,342 mushrooms of different sizes here. These mushroom pillars are of different shapes, all formed by natural weathering. Jiang Chen said as he turned the camera to the Wind Erosion Mushroom Forest Scenic Spot. Today, the Desert Wind Erosion Mushroom Forest Scenic Spot has undergone a special transformation. A road has been built in the middle of the mushroom forest, and all the sand dunes around the mushroom forest scenic spot have been flattened and planted with greenland. Houses and various commercial streets have been built on the greenland, and the wind erosion mushroom pillars have been protected. Both sides of the wind erosion mushroom pillars are blocked by railings. Poor mountains and bad waters. Wow, why are there so many pillars here? One night in Jiangnan, such large wind erosion mushrooms are really rare. The north wind blows. This is still a large maze. If you like to come, hurry up and sign up. Few people can walk out of this maze. When they heard that this is still a maze, more people were interested. The wind eroded pillars of various shapes are already very attractive, and the maze adds a lot of fun to it, so fans who are interested left messages one after another. Junior, not bad, not bad. This is the first time I have heard of maze made up of more than 10,000 wind eroded mushroom trees. They are very busy. This kind of scenic spot is the real integration of nature and development. It is very interesting to watch. I will go and experience it later. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 547. I'm not bragging. Jiang Chen didn't stay in the rheumatoid mushroom scenic area for long. He had to introduce the entire ancient capital scenic area within one day. So Jiang Chen briefly introduced the mushroom forest scenic area and then rushed to the colorful town scenic area. The colorful town scenic area is the highlight of all the scenic areas today. Jiang Chen has built many towns, but the most Central Asian town with a strong visual impact is the colorful town. After arriving at the colorful town, Jiang Chen parked the car directly in the parking lot and took everyone to visit his colorful town. Laughing, wow, are the colorful houses in front? It's a house. This town is called Colorful Town. I think everyone can guess the origin of its name. Speaking of colorful buildings, everyone can definitely think of the Blue Town in Europe, but my colorful town is more prosperous than this. Jiang Chen said, and took everyone to his colorful town for a tour. Now the colorful town is already the most prosperous place in the entire ancient capital scenic area. Here are all kinds of famous clothing stores of various brands in China, and also all kinds of famous snacks in the special zone and scenic area. Of course, the more important point is that all the souvenirs here are based on the ancient capital, which is not available in other scenic areas. Blue Fat Man, this town is okay. Although it is in the desert, you can see its walls, its layout, the people and various shops in the scenic area now. It feels better than some ancient towns in China. Old monk chanting sutra. I think its good place is mainly that it is more distinctive. As far as I know, there seems to be only one colorful house on a piece of grass. Let me briefly introduce the colorful town to you. The construction area of the colorful town is not too large, but this town can accommodate at least 300,000 tourists every day. In addition, there are homestays and hotels here. The homestays and hotels can accommodate at least 30,000 people every day. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, a group of tourists praised it. It is indeed good to live in such a town. After introducing the colorful town, Jiang Chen led everyone to visit the Huashan scenic area and the windmill scenic area. Finally, when Jiang Chen led everyone to the royal capital scenic area, it was already evening. Jiang Chen's dynasty ancient capital scenic area is really too big. According to the original plan, it would take 3 days to play around in this scenic area. Jiang Chen compressed them into 1 day. It was already very good to be able to arrive at the dynasty ancient capital scenic area in the evening. The sunset filled the sky in the evening. Against the backdrop of the red walls and golden tiles, the ancient capital was particularly beautiful. This is our ancient capital scenic area. Because it is now evening, the ancient capital scenic area is temporarily closed, but we can come outside to see the scenery of the ancient capital scenic area. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he led everyone to visit the palace walls outside the scenic area. Everyone could still see the palaces scattered within a high wall. Big fish, I saw the evening in the desert again. It's true that this kind of high wall with the sunset in the distance really has the charm of the royal capital. Big wind pushing non-stop. It does have a bit of historical flavor. If you are interested, you can go and have a look. Friends who are not interested in history can also go and have a look. After all, desertification is becoming more and more serious. Many areas in China can no longer see the sunset. Michelle, not only China, but now the problem of desertification is getting more and more serious. Even Japan, which has no desert, has begun to be invaded by the desert. The problem of deserts is indeed a big problem that bothers everyone, but Jiang Chen's scenic spot does not have to worry about this problem at all. After leading everyone to stroll around the ancient city, the sky gradually darkened. Jiang Chen looked at the time. It was already past 9 o'clock in the evening, and it was time to end the live broadcast. Today our live broadcast is about to end. Before it ends, I want to share a good news with everyone. The Grassland College of Tsinghua University and Peking University has officially recruited students nationwide. I hope that parents with children at home may wish to come to the education departments of various places for consultation. Running wind chime, don't worry, host, our place has been promoted, and many of my classmates are going to the Grassland College of Tsinghua University and Peking University. Ping pong. By the way, I would like to inquire whether students of the Grassland College can enjoy a half-price discount for the scenic spot with their student ID. Wang Daxon, with a student ID, can I get a half-price discount on accommodation? Yes, students of the Grassland College of Peking University and Tsinghua University can enjoy a half-price discount on scenic spots and hotel accommodation with their student ID. I'll also tell you our good news. This year, we have established the University of Transportation and the University of Mechanical Engineering. These two universities will also recruit students this year. The flagship majors of the University of Transportation are automobile manufacturing and intelligent systems. In addition to intelligent operating systems, the flagship majors of the University of Mechanical Engineering also include the manufacturing of various advanced heavy machinery. Jiang Chen launched his own university at the right time. When a group of fans heard that Jiang Chen had built a new university, many candidates soon asked for advice. Zhao Fifi, are the enrollment models of these two universities the same as that of the Grassland University? Mu Mugen, I'm particularly interested in automobile manufacturing. I would like to ask, for your majors, are all the first-line professors in China invited? Someone asked about the enrollment model and teaching staff, and Jiang Chen hurriedly explained it to everyone. The enrollment model is the same as that of the Grassland University of Tsinghua University. However, the Jianatang University and the Mechanical University mainly recruit graduate students. Of course, some undergraduates will also be recruited appropriately. And I want to tell you that all the teachers of our two universities are top professors at home and abroad. In addition, the things we study in our majors are also the most advanced technologies in the world. Even the technology in the United States is far from our standards. Jiang Chen's words are really not bragging. After all, the United States looks powerful now, but in terms of battery energy, intelligent systems, solar charging and other aspects, they are definitely behind Sahara Jianatang University and Sahara Mechanical University. Agent number 3, it's not easy to pass the exam. Absolutely not easy to pass. I heard that there are more people applying for Grassland College than for Tsinghua University and Peking University. The competitive pressure is also very high, not to mention the current automobile major of Jianatang University. Such a popular major must have more people applying. Storms always come after the sun. I want to ask, Grassland College guarantees employment. After graduating from Jianatang University and Mechanical University, can you also directly enter Sahara Group to work? Of course you can. Our Sahara group has just established an automobile group and an engineering machinery group. Graduates from these two universities can directly enter these two companies to work. Chapter 548, selling it to you at a higher price. A group of fans heard that Jiang Chen had built a car company and a machinery company. Some fans were envious, while others laughed at him. Guandatao, Anchor, you are so rich that you are inflated. You even dare to build a car. Building a car is not something you can build just because you want to, especially new energy vehicles and driverless technology, which even the super companies in China have not mastered. Not to mention a small company in the border area like you. Stop the fake medicine. Most people who say they want to build new energy vehicles are 99% scammers. Look at our Jai Yaoting. He shouts every day that he wants to build a car, and I don't know how many people he has cheated. Until now, there is not even a shadow of a car, and there are still a group of fools who are crazy about him. Xiao Zhedeng. Now basically every company has to build a new energy vehicle. How deceptive. The battery will run out of power in winter, and the supporting facilities are not good. It takes several hours to charge, and it will run out of power after running for a long time. Who would buy that thing? The mountains are colorful from afar. You can doubt Jiang Chen's technology, but you can't doubt his character. Think about it yourself. Who would believe that grass can be grown in the desert? Now I tell you that almonds in the desert can cure cancer. Who would believe it? Aren't all these slaps in your face? Ordinary mission. Come on, Anchor. Others don't believe you, but we believe you. You have brought us all surprises. We believe that you can succeed this time. Okay, since many people don't believe it, let's wait and see. By the way, let me tell you that I produce new energy vehicles, and in my plan, our scenic spot will be fully covered by new energy vehicles within 10 years. A group of people didn't believe what Jiang Chen said, but Jiang Chen didn't get angry. He didn't believe it before, but the big trucks and excavators were there. Even if he couldn't study them thoroughly, even if he could get 1/10 or even 100% of the technology from these trucks and excavators, it would be epoch-making for their research and development and manufacturing of new energy vehicles. Pen and Leo NIU. Sure, the host has said it. Let's wait and see. Host, if your scenic spot cannot achieve full coverage of new energy vehicles within 10 years, you will be embarrassed. Benpeo Automobile. Okay, he is definitely bragging. Not to mention him, even the developed United States dare not brag about full coverage of new energy vehicles within 10 years. Niche Automobile. Speaking of new energy technology, we car manufacturers haven't said anything yet, but you, a tourism operator, are the first to brag about it. It's really funny. Jiang Chen didn't know what was going on, and soon a group of domestic and foreign car companies began to leave messages to laugh at him. Okay, you car manufacturing companies can question me, but please remember that when you come to me to learn or buy parts and batteries in the future, please be sure to report your name, and I will sell them to you at a higher price. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, a group of fans laughed. However, the group of car company men did not forget to attack Jiang Chen. Ernio Automobile. Don't worry, although our Ernio Automobile group is not the top domestic new energy vehicle manufacturer, we are at least a first tier brand. We have our own R&D factory, and our Ernio Automobile now has the first batch of mass-produced cars. If you want to learn the technology, you might as well contact us, and I will sell it to you at a high price. Niche Automobile. After all, we are also a first tier brand. When we made cars, you weren't even born yet. Since you have boasted so much, our group has made it clear that we will never cooperate with you in the future, nor will we provide you with any parts support. Woohoo and heavy industry. When it comes to technologies such as excavators and bulldozers, our group definitely has a say. The anchor said that new energy should be applied to mechanical engineering vehicles, so I can only tell you that your boast is indeed big. I didn't say anything else. If you can research and manufacture oil-powered excavators and bulldozers, we will all admire you. Jiang Chen looked at the messages, and almost all domestic automobile manufacturers of all sizes came out to participate. It seems that if they don't step on Jiang Chen, they can't prove that they are Chinese automobile manufacturers. Northern Automobile Association. Next year we will hold a new energy automobile exhibition in Beijing. Aren't you also a car manufacturer? You can also come to participate then. Xiao's Hang Automobile. Yes, you can also come to participate then. You see, the Automobile Association has invited you. It will be embarrassing if you don't come then. Ernie Automobile. By the way, our company has a large area. We will draw a small area for you next to our company, so you can just come and participate. After a group of automobile companies finished speaking, Jiang Chen did not refuse. Next year, a whole year has passed, and Jiang Chen still doesn't believe that his automobile company can't even make a prototype car. Okay, you can send the invitation letter to our Sahara group later, and we will definitely attend on time. Not only that, we will take as much exhibition fee as you need, and we won't take advantage of you even a penny. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and he no longer paid attention to what the fans said, because it was getting dark, and he couldn't start live broadcasting after dark, because the effect would not be good, and it would waste time. Now let's go to the last part of the lottery. As you all know, today we live broadcast two things. One is the ancient capital scenic spot, and the other is the university. I will definitely not give you admission letters for the university, so let's draw 10,000 tickets for the ancient capital scenic spot. Jiang Chen finished speaking and directly pressed the lottery button and then distributed 10,000 free tickets to the Salmon King's capital scenic spot. Then he pressed the button again and issued another 100,000 coupons for 10% off the scenic spot. After the lottery, Jiang Chen looked at his live broadcast room. At this moment, there were nearly 100 million viewers in his live broadcast room. There were a lot of people watching this time, and Jiang Chen was not surprised at all. Because this live broadcast was all day, Jiang Chen started from dawn to dusk. This was his first time to live broadcast for such a long time, so it was reasonable that there were so many fans. After the live broadcast, Jiang Chen drove directly to the machinery town. He had boasted in the live broadcast room, and now he had to urge Guan Cubic. No matter what, Guan Ku must make a car by this time next year. Otherwise, he would lose face. The distance from the royal capital scenic area to the machinery town is not far, and the road is very smooth. When summer is coming, the wind in the desert is also much weaker, and because Jiangxi has already greened the surrounding area, the air at night is not so cold. Chapter 549, Labor Shortage. Jiang Chen rushed to the machinery town, which was now working day and night. In the machinery town, Jiang Chen had planted everything that could be planted, and the greening of the entire machinery town had been completed. Jiang Chen also took care of the accommodation building, government building, and street lights. Now they only had the university gate, the main teaching building, and various laboratories and large workshops in the factory to build. Brother Jiang, why are you here? After Jiang Chen found Guan Ku was directing the construction of the laboratory building of the Jianatang University. How is the construction going, President Guan? Jiang Chen said this, and lit a cigarette, and handed it to Guan Cubic. Guan Ku did not refuse. He took the cigarette and took 2 puffs, then instructed everyone how to build a laboratory while looking at the drawings and listening to Jiang Chen's speech. Slow, really very slow. Brother Jiang, we really have too few people now. Look at our machinery town. There are less than 200 workers in total now. But our machinery town has to build 2 universities, a technical secondary school and 2 giant factories. How can these 200 people handle it? Guan Ku scratched his head again. After he finished speaking, Jiang Chen looked at his messy hair and laughed. Is President Guan so worried? If there are not enough people, just recruit people. There are so many workers in China now. Are we still afraid of not being able to recruit people? It's not easy to recruit. Now the whole special zone is engaged in large-scale construction. There are new construction sites and development zones everywhere. If you walk on the main road of the special zone now, you will not see any land without cranes. Guan Ku was right. The current Yimo special zone is really a hotspot for investment. Its popularity is even greater than that of the Shenzhen Stock Exchange back then. Even now people have shouted a new slogan, the future of mankind, the tomorrow of mankind is in the Yimo special zone. Under the guidance of this new slogan, almost all investors moved their corporate headquarters, factories, etc. to the Yimo special zone. At this time, Leomar was also ambitious. The special zone had just been established, and various tax reduction policies, various loan policies, and land approval policies also allowed Leomar to achieve the extreme. So now the Yimo special zone has flattened all the surrounding yellow land and built houses, factories, and financial centers. In just 1 year, the Yimo special zone has expanded more than 10 times on the basis of the original Mojiang New District and Yunnan New District. He builds his, we build ours. China has so many workers, isn't it enough for us? Brother Jiang, you may not have been to Yunnan New District for a long time, right? If you go, you will know that it is really not enough. The special zone now has blue sky and white clouds. It is a pearl in the desert. There is only one place in the whole of China, so the headquarters and factories of various domestic companies have moved here. Those things pay more money than us, and we can't compete with them at all. This is indeed the case. Almost every company that moved to the Yima district wanted to build its headquarters or factory in the shortest possible time. Because of the tax exemption policy given to them by the Yima district, if they could move their headquarters here earlier, they could save nearly millions or even tens of millions of taxes a year. So compared to the ordinary workers' daily wages of 2 to 300, 3 to 400, these people really don't care. Then according to what you said, can we not recruit workers for the construction of other parts of the scenic area? Yes, you see that in the spring, there are still so many workers in the ancient capital scenic area. Now that the workers in the ancient capital scenic area have just arrived in summer, they have reduced by 2/3. Those workers have all gone to the Yima district to make money. Where do your workers come from? All my workers are from the grassland group. Most of them are family members of Sahara soldiers. They have a sense of collective honor. They come here to work, basically half to help and half to make money. Guanku sighed after he finished speaking. The lack of workers now is not just a problem for his scenic area. Now even the capital of the new province, Urumqi, is in dire need of workers. Originally, most areas of Washi were submerged by sandstorms due to the winter storm. Now is the most critical moment for them to resume production and construction. However, because Washi has no clear water and blue sky, and no tax reduction policy, it is difficult to attract enterprises, so workers in Washi can only get a salary of 1 or 200 yuan a day. But it is different here in Yimo Special District. In the spring, the wages of workers in Yimo Special District have risen to more than 300 yuan. When Guanku went to the special district to recruit people 2 days ago, the wages of workers had risen to more than 500 yuan a day. He thought it was too expensive, so he hesitated for a while. When he went there yesterday, he couldn't recruit anyone, even if he offered 600 yuan a day. So there was really no way to control it, so he had to negotiate with the families of the grassland group. In the end, they came to the machinery town to help at a price of 300 yuan a day. After Guanku finished speaking, Jiang Chen couldn't help but frown. This is really not a good thing. In order to reduce taxes and seize land, these large group companies are willing to spend a lot of money to hire workers to speed up the construction of factories and headquarters buildings, but they did not expect that this would directly destroy the human capital market in Yimo Special District. Now we have to solve the problem of workers. By the way, President Guan, can you hurry up and build the automobile company? I need to build a car next year. I want to participate in the new energy automobile exhibition in Shangjing. No, brother Jiang, you see that our Jianatang University and Mechanical University will start school in September. Now they have nowhere to go, so they can only arrange temporary classes in the high school of the special district. If we don't hurry up to build, they still can't move to the university next semester. But Guanku promised Shangjing and the professors he recruited at home and abroad that they would teach in the special district in the first semester, and they must move to the scenic area in the second semester, otherwise Shangjing will cancel their enrollment qualifications. Guanku refused very straightforwardly, and Jiang Chen was also a little puzzled. But it must be said that, because of the workers, many of Jiang Chen's plans could not be implemented. Now, recruiting a batch of construction workers as soon as possible is what Jiang Chen needs to solve, and it is also what Jiang Chen needs to solve for other scenic spots. By the way, I just remembered that there are more than 90,000 people in Sac City. If we can go to Sac City to recruit workers, then wouldn't the labor shortage in our scenic spot be perfectly solved? When it comes to labor shortage, Jiang Chen instantly thought of Sac City. But if you want to solve the problem of Sac City, this is another big problem. Chapter 550, Sac City Guide. Speaking of the issue of Sac City, Guanchu just remembered something. Yesterday evening, a young man came from Sac City. This young man asked to see the top leader of the Sahara group. Canny Valley called Guanchu, but Guanchu was too busy, and he didn't have time to meet the young man. He wanted to find someone to talk to the young man, but when his deputy arrived, the young man refused to talk. So Guanchu asked him to wait in Canny Valley first, and meet him, after he finished his work in the past 2 days. Brother Jiang, when you said that, I just remembered that the founder of the youth party in Sac City introduced by your fellow villager seems to have come to Canny Valley. After Guanchu finished speaking, Jiang Chen was instantly alert when he heard that the young leader of Sac City had arrived. Now the entire Sac City is still a big problem that troubles his scenic spot. Sac City is like a time bomb. If he doesn't get rid of it quickly, he doesn't know when he will blow up the Sahara scenic spot. Let's go and meet him. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Guanchu nodded, but he looked at the time. It was already late at night, and the young leader must have fallen asleep. Let's go there tomorrow morning. Brother Jiang is here today, so let's have a good meal. By the way, I'll call Lao Luo and Lao Lu later. They have been very busy during this period. Jiang Chen nodded, so Guanchu called Lu Zimin and President Luo at night, and they had dinner together in the canteen of the mechanical town. After a sleepless night, Guanchu called Captain Wang of the Canny Valley early the next morning, and then escorted the youth party to come to the Mojiang Special Zone for negotiations. After the call, Captain Wang called and said that the young leader could not go to the special zone because he did not have a passport, so Jiang Chen had to change the negotiation location to the Bermuda Desert Oasis scenic area. At noon, Jiang Chen rushed to the Bermuda Grassland Oasis scenic area. Because it was already time for lunch, Jiang Chen changed the location of the negotiation to the Rose Manor Hotel. The Rose Manor Hotel is one of the best hotels in the Bermuda Desert Oasis scenic area, especially when the roses are in bloom. The Rose Manor Hotel is a wonder of the entire scenic area. The car stopped at the parking lot of the Rose Manor Hotel, and the entire Rose Manor Hotel was surrounded by roses. Brother Jiang, that Sac adult has arrived, and he brought a few deputies with him, and is now waiting for you in the Rose Hall. The Rose Hall is the most luxurious private room in the Rose Manor Hotel. The Rose Manor Hotel is a 7-star hotel in the desert, so the Rose Hall is not a place you can enter just because you have money. Okay, by the way, bring the best wine in the hotel, and then bring all the signature dishes. This hotel is one of Jiang Chen's industries. This hotel was designed by She Zhang and asked the designer of Europa to design it based on the European noble fortress, so it is extremely luxurious inside. After entering the Rose Hall, there were already 4 people sitting in the Rose Hall. When these people saw a few middle-aged people coming to the door, they stood up in a hurry. Hello. 3 of the 4 people were from Central Asia, and 1 was a yellow-skinned person. To Jiang Chen's surprise, these 4 people all spoke Chinese very well. Hello, you're welcome, please take a seat. Jiang Chen asked a few people to sit down, and soon the people he brought in also sat down in the Rose Hall in order of priority. This time Jiang Chen did not bring many people with him. He only brought Guanchu, the mayor of Future City, Chen Jianzhao, the chairman of Sahara Group, and Zhang Liming, the commander-in-chief of the Dream Grassland military base. After a few people sat down, Jiang Chen introduced the people he brought to them one by one. The 4 young people were honored to see that Jiang Chen had brought so many giants to meet them. Hello, my name is Song Weeping. This is my Chinese name. I'm a representative of the youth of Sac City, and I'm glad that you can meet us in your busy schedule. The leader of the 4 people was only 30 years old. He was a little thin, probably because he didn't eat much in Sac City. Jiang Chen discovered a pattern. Almost everyone from Sac City was not very fat. I'm Jiang Chen, and I'm glad to see you too. Let's stop talking nonsense and get straight to the point. I'm sure Jiang Lai has told you everything I said. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Song Weeping nodded and said, you told us everything, so I'm willing to come here to see you. I came here to seek your help, and I also sincerely want to lead the people of our Sac City to truly live a happy and fulfilling life. Today's Sac City has long become a hell on earth. Sac City was originally in a piece of yellow sand, and they had almost no contact with the outside world. The food they ate could only be sold to them by warlords. Not only was the price expensive, but ordinary people couldn't afford it either. So many people starved to death every year. Especially in winter, when the winter storm came, Sac City was directly frozen to death by nearly 10,000 people. Now Sac City has entered chaos again. The three warlords are fighting almost every day. The lives of the common people are already very difficult. Coupled with the war, they live worse than dogs. Then you came to the right person. I also hope that the people of your Sac City can live a good life. I also hope that in the future you Sac people can give up drugs, gambling and terrorism. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Song Weeping nodded and said, if there is a way to survive, who among us would be willing to take this path? You also know the current situation in the desert. We are really like mice in the desert, or even worse than mice. At least mice can have enough food, but the people there live worse than pigs and dogs. I heard that you have formed a youth organization alliance. I would like to ask how many people are in your alliance now? How much hope do you have in solving the three major warlord forces? And can the people there develop in the direction you give? After Song Weeping finished speaking, he spoke out what was in his heart. We have a total of 500 members in the Youth Organization Alliance, and the 4 of us are the youth representatives from the 4 districts of Sac City. It is still unrealistic for us to overthrow the 3 major warlords, so we want to seek your help. As long as you can give us help, we will convince more young people to join our plan, and we will also let more people join us. As long as they can have food to eat, as long as they stop selling their children, then they will definitely not rely on the warlord forces. Song Weeping, Jiang Chen nodded and said, what kind of assistance do you want? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.